And here we go. Welcome in
Yes, sir.
another edition of Bucky and BK. Today is Monday, March 2nd, 2026. And the Buck and I are with you for the next 2 hours on Texas Independence Day, talking plenty of Texas sports. Longhorn men's basketball with a huge road victory in College Station on Saturday. Is Texas a lock for the NCAA tournament? We will talk about it. Plus, Texas baseball sweeping the Bruce Bolt College Classic down in Houston. We got some Texas women's basketball to get into as the Longhorn women ended their regular season with a victory. Some NFL Combine to talk about. We are 1 week away from Texas spring football and a little NASCAR at COTA and the BBK news. We are locked and we are loaded and we are ready to roll on a Monday edition of the program. Hope everyone had a great weekend. We appreciate y'all spending some time on your Mondays with us. How are you today, my man?
It is good. It's a good day. It's a little cloudy, and it's we will see rain this week, BK. Let me tell you, we will see rain. But first of all, let me just say happy birthday to you, young man. I mean, they just keep getting younger. I just keep getting older. But happy birthday to you, man. And it's should be a wonderful day. I hope you had a wonderful weekend.
I
And
did.
plenty of good things for you to come, my friend.
I appreciate that. Yeah, 32 today.
Wow.
Turning 32 on 3/2.
Sandy Koufax. There's a good number. I think Sandy Koufax wore 32.
There you go. One of us.
Yeah. Jim Brown. Also not one of you, but one of you.
Not one of us. No.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jim Brown. Yeah.
Big
Some
number
great
30.
birthdays. John Bon Jovi celebrating a
Wow.
birthday today. Luke Combs, Chris Martin. And then you've got the father of Texas, Sam Houston.
Sammy Houston.
Sammy Houston. I don't think he's still with us, but I've got to double check that. Dr. Seuss celebrating a birthday today.
Very nice.
And
I'm
yeah.
a big fan of Dr. Seuss.
Big Dr. Seuss guy, huh?
Oh, yeah.
There you go. There you
Oh,
go.
the places we'll go.
Cedric Benson, by the way, another Texas great who wore the number 32. So, yeah, man, appreciate that. Appreciate the kind wishes coming in. And, yeah, lucky to be another year older.
Yes, indeed, man. Every day is a good day.
Yeah.
It definitely is. And I'll say good day to the soldiers at Fort Hood, Texas, the soldiers in the state of Texas, and all those that fight for us each and every day all over this world, which seems like where we're at right now. And to those soldiers all over this world, thank you so very much for what you do for us, home and abroad. We are privileged to have you serving us and doing things for our freedoms. We do appreciate that. And to those in our states here, be diligent, have your head on a swivel. Even that is just a start. At least it's a step in the right direction for a lot of folks. And to the folks that lost their lives down on 6th Street in our own hometown, we pray for you and your families. We wish things do get better around this world, but for those that are fighting for us, please do have your head on the swivel. That's for everybody. That's not just for soldiers. That's be diligent on what you do. Notice where you are if you can. And much prayers to those that lost their lives and to their loved ones. It was a tough weekend in our city, and kind of tough around the world right now. But you do have the responsibility, and you can be diligent, and you can report things that look odd to you. That if it doesn't look right, don't be afraid to report it, please.
Yeah, a lot of craziness going on in the world right now. When obviously it hurts a little more when it happens in your own backyard. And,
yes, it does.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers to everyone affected by the tragic event that took place early yesterday morning. 3 dead, 14 injured on downtown Austin on West 6th Street, right outside of Buford's, just after 2 a.m. Horrific story, horrific scene. And yeah, just a sad day for our great city. And
yes,
obviously, as you mentioned, Buck, thoughts and prayers to everyone affected and the family members and friends of those who lost their lives and those who are hurt, and just thinking about everybody who was down there, because unfortunately that's a moment that nobody who was in the area is ever going to forget. So that was awful to see. And yeah, tough for the university, tough for the city. And I mean, That's a bar that I've been to 50 times in my life, and a street that I've spent countless hours on in my life. And just thinking of that happening is horrifying. So well said by you. And yeah, thoughts and prayers to those who, again, impacted by that tragedy yesterday. It was tough for sure. All right, here. Let's get to some sports, some positive things from the weekend. Plenty to dive into there. And I think we got to open up with a little Texas Longhorn basketball, my friend. What do they say? Turnabout is fair play.
Oh, yes.
Revenge is a dish best served burnt orange. I think that's the line.
Is that what it is?
I think that's it. How about the Texas men's basketball team going on the road to College Station in a huge late February game? Look, it's always sweet to beat your rival, but
yes,
to beat your rival in their place, help out your tournament chances, and put a big-time damper on their tournament chances. I mean, that's as good as it gets for Sean Miller in Texas basketball. What a win, 76-70, the final score. The Longhorns getting the job done. Another quadrant one victory. And Texas, Buck, with 2 regular season games to play in a very, very good spot to make the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, that was a tough, hard fought basketball game. That was one when you're on the road and, the opposing team is fighting for their lives too, trying to make sure that they're not on the bubble. You know what you have to do. You're on the road. They've already beat you once. They beat you at your home, so you've got to go there and win that game. And boy, they buckled up and played some really good defense for this basketball team. It's as good a defensive game that we've seen them play, and they all were involved in this game. Everybody, from Mark to Pope. We criticized Mark and what he had been doing over the last couple of games, not playing defense, but he had a really nice game. He rebounded. He did some of the dirty work on defense. He scored. I thought he was into that basketball game.
Oh, yeah.
I thought the team was into that game. Thought everybody played as hard as they could. They got some early fouls, but they kind of battled through it and, got their feet moving instead of slapping guys with their hands. They hung in there. Nobody fouled out. It was a good team effort.
Yeah, it was. And I think you're right. The team played with some energy. They played with some swagger. Like, they were ready to go from the opening tip. They were talking some trash. Like, they were animated. They were into the game early. And you're right. There was some early foul trouble. I mean, they called a foul on Modest Vocatitis on the jump ball. I still don't know what he did. I don't think Sean Miller knows what he did. Like, it was just a normal jump ball. And the ref was looking for something clearly. And he called something on the opening tip, and then they had like a 5-minute review. The first second of the game took like 5 minutes. And then Modest, a minute later, picks up his second foul. This one was a good call. It was just a dumb play by Modest. So your big guy goes to the bench a minute and 3 seconds in. And then on top of that, Dalen Swain picked up 2 fouls in the first 3.5 minutes. So your 2 best players are like the guys that you think you're going to have to ride to a road victory here. They're sitting for the majority of the first half because they're in foul trouble. And thankfully, Tremont Mark and Jordan Pope and everybody else, they stepped up. The Longhorns were only down by 1 at halftime. They actually played with the lead for a lot of the first half, but they were able to weather the storm despite their 2 best guys sitting on the bench. And obviously in the second half, when those guys were able to stay on the floor, you saw Texas figure some things out offensively. And like you said, get some big stops defensively too. And they kind of took control in the second half, and they played with the lead, and they sort of ran away at the end from the Aggies.
Yeah, that was nice to see. I felt, in that second half, there were times where it was tough. It wasn't like large leads. I was like, boy, both teams are in this. If somebody gets on a roll right here and somebody forgets to play a little bit of defense for a couple, when they got the ball a couple times, that was going to be a problem. But like I said, everybody played D. Everybody got into it, and they didn't let them run away. Nobody got the chance of running high. Those are those kind of games that you have to find a way to win. And, you look around at your coaches, but you as a player, that's on you now. You find the way to win. You don't foul. You make your free throws. You don't do dumb things at that part of the game. And I thought Texas played a pretty good, smart game against the Aggies.
Yeah, they did. And I think they won it with defense. I'm kind of mad A&M made that final 3. Like, Texas was up 76-67, and the Aggies literally hit a meaningless buzzer beater to get them to 70.
Oh, yeah.
But to me, Texas basically held them to 67 points, which for Texas is really, really good. I mean, the last time they've held a team to 67 or fewer was the win against Georgia back on January 24th. So they haven't defended like that in a while. They held the Aggies to just 38% shooting. Texas also had 9 blocks in the game, Buck. They had 7 in the first half. That was a season high, like for a game. They had 7 blocks in the first half, which was more than they've had in an entire game all year. Then they picked up a couple more in the second half. They were getting steals. They were getting out in transition. We haven't seen it from this team almost at all this year. But defense was kind of the story. It wasn't the most efficient offensive performance for the Longhorns, but they got some big stops. And they held A&M without a field goal for like 6.5 minutes down the stretch. And that was so big because you think of the Florida game and you think of the Georgia game, right? Close games with 8 minutes to go. And then the Longhorns fell apart in both of them. And This one, like you said, kind of a close game. And you're like, okay, who's going to make the plays? Who's going to get the stops? In the most recent games, it had been the opponents. In this one, it was Texas clamping down and obviously hitting some huge buckets to find the victory. So that was really nice to see.
Yeah, and and their lead guard Jordan Pope over about the last 5 or 6 games, he hadn't had 28, 30 points, but he's had 14, 18 where he's hit some key baskets and played a little bit of defense. But what he has done, he's not throwing the ball to the other dudes. He's controlling the ball, and that was a game that they pressured you a lot. And they had those early turnovers, but then in the second half, I mean, they took care of the ball. Everybody took care of the ball. As a matter of fact, he didn't bring it up every time. They started to let Mark bring the ball up like he did last year on occasions where Pope didn't get to have to be pressed all the time with, since he's a smaller guy and they can double him up. They let Mark bring it up where he's a taller guy and could get through and break that pressure. But Pope is taking care of the ball in that second half too. I enjoyed watching. I've enjoyed watching that dude play over the last couple games because I'm waiting for him to have one of those games where he busts out about 26 points, but it hadn't been like that. It's just been really solid play all around. And for him, solid play is play a little bit of defense, at least try to get in front of the guy, and he's done just that.
Yeah, 17 points for Jordan Pope on Saturday, 6 of 11 shooting, 2 of 5 from beyond the arc, added 4 rebounds as well. And
Yeah.
You're right. I thought he played pretty well on the defensive end. And yeah, Texas, early in the game, I think the Longhorns had 9 turnovers in the first half, which is a bit uncharacteristic for this team. They haven't turned it over a lot this year. And the Bucky ball, the full court press was getting to them a little bit. I think part of that was because, again, Swain and Modest were in foul trouble, so they just didn't have their regular guys on the floor to try to deal with it. But in the second half, Texas only had 2 turnovers. Like, they cleaned it up. They figured it out. They were able to get into their offense, which led to them scoring, 47 points in the second half after just 29 in the first 20 minutes. And you're right. I mean, Jordan Pope, just 1 turnover. Again, Texas as a team did a much, much better job in the second half handling that A&M pressure defense. And that was a huge part of why they got it done. And, Sean Miller, I didn't cut this cut up. We'll let you hear from Sean Miller in a moment. But he did mention in the post-game press conference that he coaches Jordan Pope harder than anybody on this team. He said it to the press, and he also was like, I've said it to my team a lot because he thinks Jordan Pope has a lot of talent. And he's watched him play the last couple of years, and he's like, man, I think there's more there. Like, there's more potential than what he's done in his career. So I'm going to spend extra time with this guy to try to unlock that and get the most out of him. And I think you're seeing, that extra coaching from Sean Miller pay off. Obviously, you give Jordan Pope a ton of credit too, clearly putting in the extra work and being receptive to that coaching. And yeah, you are starting to see a lot of consistency from Pope Jordan. And look, man, I mean, we've talked about it a lot. Like, Swain and Modest are the 2 best players on this team, but this Texas basketball team is going to go as far as Jordan Pope and Tremont Mark take them.
For sure.
Like, those are the guys you need to step up. And again, on Saturday, they were both amazing in this game. That's why Texas was able to get the win. If Tremont Mark has another bad day and we're talking about another poor Mark performance and another bad shooting night for Jordan Pope, then we're talking about Texas losing to A&M, and it's a 3-game losing streak. And now what do they need to do to get into the tournament? But those 2 guys, your seniors, your holdovers from Rodney Terry, they stepped up, made some huge plays, and that's why the Longhorns got it done.
Yeah, because Swain had to spend time on the boards. I mean, he ended up with 10 rebounds. He had the most rebounds for this team. So it wasn't just about him having to score and play a little defense. This guy was on the boards on Saturday. So, yeah, those guys have to make sure that Mark and Pope have to make sure that their contribution is big, and it doesn't have to be big in numbers, but you have to take care of the ball. And I thought Jordan Pope did a good job taking care of the ball, especially in the second half, because when he gets pressed, dude, and those big guys are on him, 2-on-1 on him, and he gets caught in the corner or whatever, and he tries to jump in the air and then throw the ball. So he has the ability, he has to make that first guy. He can't get into pressure situations. He has to get the ball up the court and then get rid of the ball. And I thought he did a good job on Saturday.
I do too. Here is Sean Miller after the game breaking down what went right for Texas on the road in College Station.
Well, first thing I would just say it was a great victory by our team here today. And one of the reasons is we were playing against a very good team who's been good all season long on their home court in front of an incredible crowd. So throw all those factors in, you really have to rise to the challenge, and our group did. There's a lot of different players on our team I can credit. I'll start with Jordan Pope. I thought handling the ball, getting open, it's not an easy assignment for a guard to play against A&M because of their style. And I thought Jordan really, from start to finish, played like a really good senior point guard. Obviously, Tremont Mark, he played lights out. It was one of his best games of the year. And when he gets going, he's really a terrific offensive player. But the 23 points from Tremont, I thought Jordan Pope being a steadying force from start to finish. And then just overall, that was one of our best defensive performances of the season. We were on it. We limited their three-point shooting, and we had a lot of guys, playing with a lot of energy and effort.
You got to have that energy. Like you said, they showed up immediately with the energy. And it kept going right through the first half. It wasn't perfect in the first half, but you needed to have that energy still in the second half, and this group had it on Saturday. That's a really nice win.
Yeah, it is, and it's huge for the Longhorns tournament chances. They've got two.
Especially in Aggie land. Especially there.
Well, that's the best part. Look, when you're a coach at the University of Texas, I think most Longhorn fans have been pretty satisfied with the job Sean Miller has done in year one, but you don't want to lose to your rivals. Like losing at home to A&M was not great at all. And you really did not want to get swept by A&M for a number of different reasons. But even outside of the tournament conversation, just you don't want to get swept by one of your biggest rivals. That's not going to get this fan base to love you a whole lot. So to go get a win in their house and have their fans scrambling for the exits with a couple of minutes left, that was pretty glorious. So Sean Miller so far 2-1 against A&M and OU. Obviously, he'll get another chance against the Sooners here in Austin this weekend. I'll take a winning record against those guys this year if you can.
Absolutely.
That was big time. And then, for the Longhorns, look, I've been looking at some bracketologies since the game went final, and I've seen Texas as high as a 7 seed out there. Now, most of the bracketologies that I've seen have the Longhorns in the 9 to 10 range still. Joe Lunardi has Texas as one of his last 4 buys, so in the tournament and not in the first 4 in Dayton. That's where you would like to be. And the Horns have 2 more chances to bolster their resume. They're at Arkansas on Wednesday. That would be a huge win. Arkansas is really good. I don't expect Texas to get that one, but if you do, that's the type of victory that could move you up a seed line. And then on Saturday at home, as we mentioned, against Oklahoma, that's a quadrant 2 game. But still, it's one you would like to get. And if the Longhorns do get that one against Oklahoma, then I don't think you're going to have to worry about what they do in Nashville. I don't think you're going to have to worry about playing in Dayton. I think, 9 was the magic number of conference wins. We talked about that before conference play began. Texas just got to 9 with that victory over A&M. So I think they're in a good spot right now. If they can get to double digits, then
one more will do it.
Yeah, one more, you're a lock. Again, I feel like you're pretty much there already, but one more, and then you're just waiting to figure out, okay, who are we going to play?
Yeah, and who the hell wants to lose to Oklahoma at home?
Yeah, don't lose that one, please.
No,
they're not very good, and
no, they're not.
Yeah, this is one you should get. So, great stuff there from Texas men's basketball. Trying to get this queued up here. We'll let you hear from Sean Miller, one more from the coach. And then I've got Tremont Mark talking about the Aggies, because Tremont Mark's been an Aggie killer. It's like the Trey Wisner of Texas basketball. Remember, Mark hit the game-winning shot in the final seconds in the win over A&M last year here in Austin. And obviously 23 points, maybe his best game of the year, led all scorers in College Station. We'll get to that in a second. But here's Sean Miller talking about the early foul trouble for his team and his guys being able to overcome Dalen Swain and Modest Fokatitis not being able to play their usual minutes.
So the start, I thought at the beginning, getting a foul on the jump ball, that's a tough one. And then getting a second foul within 30 seconds. I don't know if I've seen either of those, but, looking at it, he probably fouled in both. And again, that's up to us to teach Modest the value of being present and ready and being smart. So, but we had to play through some crazy fouls in the first half. And I thought, again, credit our team from being able to get to halftime without playing really Dalen or Modest like we usually do. That's not easy, especially on the road.
That dude is so funny. I'm telling you, he is so like Lou Carnesecca and John Thompson in the Big East. He's been around those guys. He sounds like them. He goes, yeah, he probably fouled. He said, that's unusual. He goes, yeah, but he probably did foul. I'm like, wow, coach, give your boy I was waiting for him to say the official, I can't understand it. But he says, no, I'm used to it. He probably did foul. But he said he did a good job afterwards. That's great.
It's usually a safe assumption that
yes.
really anybody.
He's not blaming the officials. He's blaming the kid.
Yeah, we've heard Sean Miller talk about fouling a lot this year. Yes. And very few times he's talked about the fouling. He's been talking about the officials not doing a good job.
No. He said generally it's the player. It's them.
It's looking in the mirror at his own team, and it's like, no, it's usually our fault when they call these things. So I don't know.
Later, after the first foul, he gets another one.
Yeah, that one was dumb. I thought the first foul was ridiculous. Like, I don't want to advise people to go watch a bunch of jump balls. You have better things to do with your life than watch just opening tips around college basketball. But there's always a little bit of contact between the two parties there. There has been way worse in that circle that has gone uncalled than what Modest Fokatitis allegedly did on Saturday. That ref was like on a mission to call something on Modest early, clearly. And but yeah, love Sean Miller's reaction. And look, I mean, he's said it a lot this year.
We will foul the living out of you.
Right from the tip.
Right from the tip. We will foul the living S out of you.
Man,
right,
oh man.
Right from the opening
tip.
Out of him. Yeah, thank you. Here is Tremont Mark, by the way, after the game. We'll breakout session, just talking about his day and his disdain for the Aggies.
I know everybody always says that. I really think of it as another game, but once the game starts, and especially in this building, the fans get to going and all types of stuff. I don't like the color maroon. Just a lot of things get going, so I guess you can say that. Yeah.
He didn't like the color maroon. I got you. I understand. I know how you feel.
I agree 100%. So yeah, Tremont Mark just saw all that maroon around Rita and is like, yeah, I'm going to shut all these people up. I'm going to have the game of my season today. And he was fantastic. So awesome win. A lot of fun. And obviously the Longhorns helping their tournament chances and hurting A&M's tournament chances in the process. That's about as good as it gets right there.
No doubt about it.
76-70. Texas gets the win to improve to 18-11 on the year, 9-7 in the SEC. All right, we will shift gears here. Plenty more Texas sports to dive into. We'll talk a little NFL Combine. We will begin our spring football preview as the first spring practice is just 7 days away. Of course, we got some baseball and some women's hoops to talk about as well. But before we go any further, how about our first round of sponsor shout outs?
Yeah, I want to say hello to a friend of ours, and you and I know him pretty well. His name is Matt King. He is the CEO of an organization called Gobundance, which you'll talk about a little bit later. But this dude is doing something very special, and he's doing it in the month of May. It's going to take a lot of grit. It's going to take a lot of toughness, but he will finish the job. And that's exactly what the ride is all about therideproject.com. It's a 2,000-mile cycling journey from Mexico to Canada. Fit by the Gobundance guy, Matt King. Like I said, we love this dude, and this is special now. This guy's going to do something that's incredible. He's going to make a difference all around the country, probably in every state that he stops at. He's trying to raise $1 million, but along the way, along the journey, folks, he's going to give $1 million away. So most of the states or all of the states that he's going to stop in, he's going to help out a community or a family or a group that really needs some help. And that's not just taking $1 million and putting it here or there. Each state that he goes to, he's going to put a certain amount of money to a family in need. Now, they'll find a way to do it. He's going to have his organization and his staff find out the family or the community that needs that money along the way. But his mission is to raise $1 million, a 2,000-mile ride. And that's going to be an awful lot of fun. And you can help him out by going to therideproject.com, donating. We are going to do it. Our team is going to go do it ourselves and give that away. No, we're not making the ride. We're not tough enough to do the ride. I'm not tough enough to go 2,000 miles on a bicycle seat all over the country. But that's going to start from Mexico to Canada, folks. Go to therideproject.com and donate while this guy is he's given his time. He's given a lot of effort. He's given his body to this 2,000-mile ride. I was going to say run. It's in my mind. I keep thinking of it, run. Hey, cycling, walking, running 2,000 miles. That's a long haul, man. That it really is. And that's something special to give to communities in need. And he's going to find a community, I think, in every state and donate some of the money. He's got a nice chunk of money right now, but he's trying to get $1 million before he starts. How about getting $1 million and then giving away $1 million along the way? That's how you give back to communities. And Matt King is doing just that. So go to therideproject.com and give, folks. We want you to give. We're going to be a part of it. We hope you can be a part of it too.
No doubt. Yeah, therideproject.com. They've already raised more than $277,000 for this incredible mission. And as you mentioned, Matt King is a great guy. This is not a one-off for him. He's one of the most philanthropic dudes around Central Texas. And this is just who he has always been about and what he has always been about. And yeah, 150 miles per day, 8 to 12 hours of riding per day, making his way from Mexico to Canada. And it's special, man. Really, really cool. Wow. He's been training his tail off behind the scenes. He's a father of children. And I don't know how, like young kids too. I don't know how he's finding the time to get all this work done and get all this training done. But really, really cool. We're happy to be partnering with him and his great team at Gobundance and at The Ride. And Gobundance.com too. Check out what they're all about. We talked about them a lot during football season, and we'll continue to talk about them over these next few months, but definitely support The Ride. We might be doing some live broadcasts along the journey. So we love what they've got going on. And we think you will too.
Ooh, that's a lot of bicycle seat.
Dude. Oh, that's a lot of ass to seat.
No, that's a lot of bicycle just sitting on that seat, man. You're going during the course of the day. It's a long journey, bro. That's a long, tough journey, but he'll get it done.
He will get it done. There's no doubt about that. 200 miles on a bike is too far for me. 2,000
miles on a bike is far from me.
You're right. I'm saying like I bike 2 miles every day. Like I couldn't tell you the last time I've done that. This guy's going for 2K across the entire country. Really cool stuff. So shout out to Matt and his team there. Also, some love to our great friends at centextickets.com. If you want to catch any Longhorn events, got baseball back in town tomorrow, softball in town this week. Texas men's basketball will be back on Saturday. If you want to be at any Longhorn game, Centex Tickets is the place you need to go to find your seats. Plus, they've got concert tickets. They've got Broadway show tickets. They've got festival tickets, comedy shows. You name it. If it's an event coming to our fair burg, Centex Tickets has you covered. And don't forget the promo code CENTEX10. You type that in at checkout, you're going to get 10% off of any ticket purchase from our great friends at centextickets.com.
No doubt about it.
Yes, indeed. All right. A little combine talk next here, Buck.
Yeah, man. I was watching some highlights from yesterday, the last day. I saw a couple big guys run. I was watching the defensive linemen. I didn't see anything that was crazy. You know, I saw a lot of 5 flats, maybe some 4 9s, but I didn't see any. Thank goodness, because I don't know how they're made. If they're 370 pounds running 4 6s, I didn't see much of that. I saw those guys fly. They were flying. They did as fast as I did, for sure. If I were to run, because I was a 4.6 guy. I think I hit 4.58 once in my life as a high schooler. But those big guys still running 4.7s, 4.8s, 5 flats, and they are huge now. They are muscular and large and round shouldered too. Going down that track, I didn't see anybody fall, BK. I didn't see any explosions on the track this combine.
That's good. No one's sack fell out of their pants.
No, nobody's butt cheeks were hanging out. I think they all made it pretty well.
That happened to Chris Jones, who's future Hall of Famer, right? With the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, he was running the combine or running the 40 at the combine, and he tripped and fell, and his things fell out.
Oh yeah, all this stuff hit the turf.
Yeah, which was pretty hilarious. So no, I didn't see that repeat itself this weekend. Sounds like you were looking for it. So thank you for doing that kind of scouting for the show.
Well, I'll tell you what happens when I watch the big guys run. I just don't want them to reach back and grab that hammy. That's what I'm always afraid of, because those guys, that's hard to get over for a big guy. They got a lot of hammy to pull when they pull it.
That's always the worst part, right? When people get hurt. We talked about Anthony Hill too, because he worked out on Thursday. So we talked about him during Friday's show, and he ran a super fast 40, and unfortunately on a second 40-yard dash attempt, he felt a little tightness in his hamstring, so he couldn't participate in any of the on-field drills, which is like, we didn't see him grab at it. It didn't look that bad, but he basically is like, I'm not taking any chances here. I've got the pro day coming up in Austin. Like, I did enough running this 4.51. I'll be okay. I don't want to risk anything, but it happens. I mean, every year there are multiple guys who pull or tweak something that unfortunately ends their days before they would like.
Well, yeah, that's one of your biggest interviews in life for those dudes.
Yeah.
So their bodies, I mean, they're gonna hopefully have their muscles there, but they're gonna be tight and tense, and you're at that starting line, and then that dude blows that whistle if you jump the gun. Oh my goodness. Dude standing there with a whistle, just I'm like, come on, guy, turn your back or turn around. Let me get going. Let me get a little bit of a head start going.
It's the same guy every year too.
I know. Oh.
And yeah, he's harsh, and he'll yell at camera people. He'll yell at coaches and GMs, like anybody who's in the way. He's like, move, you can't be there, move. And then he wants that 3-second count with your arm up. He doesn't want you going too early. He's very harsh.
No, they're very disciplined, those guys, on what you have to do, even when you run the drills and stuff. I mean, that guy is on you. They'll make you start over again, or they'll tell you to go to the back of the line. It's you got to listen when you're there. You can't be lollygagging, messing around in the line. You have to know exactly what they're looking for. They explain it. It's like they explain it. They give you all that stuff when you get there of how this is going to go down. But they explain it one time, BK. One guy will come up and he'll set the example of what they want. Generally the guy with the high GPA will jump up there and get that done. But they don't explain it like 5 times. When you do it wrong, they'll get on your ass about doing it wrong. But that guy's not going to go up there and explain this thing over and over to you like maybe your coach does. Hey, if I tell you don't cross the street and you do it, they don't go over and over. When they're at the combine, they expect to explain something to you one time and you get it. And then when you go up there and do it wrong, they get pissed.
I didn't realize Sean Miller was up at the combine yesterday. Flew from College Station to Indy to have a couple of speeches for the players there.
Your coach, your position coach, when you screw up, will explain that. He's been explaining stuff to you since the day he met you. Since the day he met you in high school or you came onto that campus, he's been explaining things to you. This is what we do. This is how we do it. And then a month later or a practice later, this is what we do. This is how. But you go to the combine, you become a pro, and that's it. That guy said, I'm not spending my time telling you 5 times. If you guys aren't listening, if you guys who are gathered around and I tell you you're going with this arm, the outside arm, and you slap it and then you twirl around that next bag, I'm not explaining. If you guys went to college and you can't get that, you're going to have a tough time in the NFL. That's what they're trying to tell you.
Right. Oh, I also have a tight schedule. I mean, there are hundreds of players working out there over the 4 days, and hey, they've got some strict timelines to keep. So, I always feel bad because it's not a volunteer situation. It's alphabetical. So they go in order based on your last name. So I always feel bad for the guys who have to go first because it's not like, oh, you only go first in one drill, and then the next time they'll start with the Z's. No, like if your last name starts with an A, you're going to be going first every single time.
Dude, I want to go early because with my mind, because this mind is a terrible thing. I can imagine being like the 15th guy. By that time, what did that guy tell us? Which arm do I start off with? That
No
would
way.
be me. I'd be lost.
I'd rather be the 15th guy, so I could watch 14 people go before me, and they'll screw up, and they'll get yelled at, and it's like, okay, here's what I don't do. Now I know exactly how I'm supposed to go through this drill. First
No,
guy is always the one who
I'd rather be
screws
about
up.
the fourth guy. I can get it by about the fourth guy. The second guy is the one. After the first guy demonstrates and then he goes, that next guy is the one. You better not be the next guy to screw it up right after they just demonstrated it to you, you know?
Yes. Sometimes it's like, oh, it's good. You're asking questions. Like that means you want to learn. But I think at the combine, it's like, dude, just do it. Shut up and run through the
Yeah,
drills.
don't talk to us. Just don't. Yeah, I saw them do that on all things when they were talking about receivers over the outside shoulder and stuff. This guy was explaining it to him. He goes, if you do it wrong, you're just going to come back and you're going to go to the back of the line and get your name called again. He goes, but I'm not letting you do this. If I tell you to turn your head to the outside, turn your head to the outside. He's going to throw it over that outside shoulder. We want to see you adjust to the catch. And man, and they're talking to him hard too. They're not like, yeah, we just want to see you make a little maneuver. They're talking to him hard, like they're coaching them at their camps. So it's like, damn.
Talking to him hard.
Talking
Yes,
to them
indeed.
hard, yes.
I
And
like
receivers get it too. They all get it.
Of course. That's supposed to work.
I'll tell you one guy who made it look really simple. I saw the running back drills. I saw Jeremiah Love. That dude is big, fast, and accurate in his movements and in his cuts. Wow. Is he a specimen?
Yeah, Jeremiah Love's going to be the first running back taken next month, and he had a really strong showing at the combine. Also ran a 4.36, which was the second fastest amongst all the running backs who were there. He's big, he's fast, he's strong, and he is the total package.
Wow, is he big? He's big. He's muscular, and he looks like a big track star.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? He looks like one of those big Olympic track stars with all the muscles, but boy, can he maneuver his feet.
Yeah, 6 feet, 212 pounds, running a 4.36. Pretty ridiculous there. And obviously put up some gaudy numbers during his career at Notre Dame, especially these last couple of seasons. So he will be hearing his name called very early.
I think so. I think he may be the real surprise of how quick he goes.
Yeah, I could see that too. Well, for the Texas Longhorns, Manny Muhammad, pretty strong showing for him. I thought every Longhorn who participated in the drills at the combine kind of exceeded expectations, at least from the outside world. I was pretty impressed by some of the numbers and some of the drills that we saw from the Longhorns. Manny Muhammad, the fastest of the 7 Texas players who were there, running a 4.42 40. Also a 39-inch vertical, 10-foot, 10-inch broad jump. All 3 of those were the best for any Longhorn in attendance. I'm curious where Manny Muhammad ends up going in the draft. I think he could be a second-round pick. Maybe he'll fall to round 3, potentially round 4 at the worst. But I thought he had a really, really strong showing. And again, he's got a good enough athleticism and good enough size to be a really good cornerback in the National Football.
Yeah, he's got those long arms. He did well in the ball drills and his movement. He's gonna make himself some money, I think, from going to the combine. And then he'll be even better when he gets here at his personal workouts.
Yeah, I think so too. 4.42 40, which was top 10 amongst defensive backs who were there. 6 feet, 182 pounds, but does have some long arms. And I think he's look, I don't know if he's going to be a star corner at the next level, but I think he has a chance to be like a really solid number 2 corner in the league for a number of years. And you're right. I mean, at the pro day, we'll see if he runs another 40. We'll see if he could top what he did in Indy. And but I liked what he showed, and I think I agree with you in terms of him making himself some money this weekend. How about Michael Taft running a 4.5 flat up there in Indy?
Pretty doggone good right there.
You know, I don't expect Michael Taft to be drafted very high. He'll be a day 3 pick, but I mean, we know that guy is willing to do anything and everything to help a team win. So special teams and obviously great locker room guy, big time leader. And that guy, I think, is going to make whichever team drafts him pretty happy with everything that you get with Michael Taft.
Yeah, and, with Mendoza not doing anything, which I don't blame him. I'm not doing anything, and you're going to take me first. How's that? How do you like them apples?
Yeah. Of course. I mean, he didn't have to show up. He doesn't have to do anything. He could literally go in hiding for the next month and a half, and he's going to be the first pick in the draft.
Yeah, I still remember when my old partner Hogan used to tell me about, because he's a big Buckeye guy. So he would tell me about the story about Orlando Pace, who drove to Indy. Well, it's not that far, but he drove, get out of his car. He said they started examining him. He said, they said, here's what you're going to do in the workouts. He goes, no, I'm not. I'm getting right back in my car after I take my physical, and I'm going home, and you're still going to take me.
Yeah. Some guys are good enough in college. Look, the combine, I mean, it's the underwear Olympics, right?
Yes.
Like, do teams use it? Yes. Although you did see a couple of teams not send their GMs or their head coaches to Indianapolis this year. So, most teams focus more on the college film and kind of, what they know about the players. But for some guys, if you do enough during your college career, you don't have to show anything. Like,
what am I showing you? I'll go here, take a physical. Okay, here's my physical. But let me get in my car and drive back to campus. I've had enough.
I mean, for some guys, look, if you're an Arvell Reese, it's like, I mean, you're a physical athletic freak, and you can only help your case by running 40s and benching and doing all of those cone drills and shuttles and this, that, and the other, then go do it because you're helping yourself. Like, you're fighting for draft status there. But if you're Fernando Mendoza, like, what? Nothing that good could happen for Fernando Mendoza. The only place he could go is down from where he's projected to be drafted. Yeah. So, like, if he went to Indy and threw and was horrible, which I don't think would happen because he's very good, but if he threw and was horrible, then he's only hurting himself potentially by doing that.
Yeah, see, a guy like Ty Simpson needed it, and he did really, really well. Right. So he needed to be there. He needed to throw the ball. Yeah. Just do what you do. And then he put on like 10 pounds, and they were worried about his size, where he put on like 10 pounds.
Most of the guys at the combine are like not set in stone for where they're going to be drafted, right? They are trying to move up the board a little bit. Right. Heck, some of these dudes are just ensuring that they're going to get drafted at all. So it's like, hey, this is kind of an interview. Like, I'm going above and beyond, doing whatever I possibly can to make sure that at least one team here falls in love with me. So yeah, for most of those guys, you're doing anything and everything you can to get in the good graces of NFL people. But for some of these dudes, it's like, you're already good.
Yeah, I mean, a guy like Jeremiah Love, he knows he's going to be the number one running back taken when the season begins and when he has a good season and he's not injured. But to go to the combine, he's trying to place himself as a top 5 draft pick, period.
Yeah.
He's not going there. He knows there's no other running back going in front of him.
No. Well, I mean, again, he can move himself up a couple of slots. Right. Look, I don't want to discourage people from going to the combine because I enjoy watching the combine. So I hope enough NFL people continue to care, and I hope enough fans continue to care to where they show it on TV every year. And I hope the players continue to care enough about it. And it's it's a fun event. It's a fun event, and it's
plus they want to get to know you. They're in a place where you're with a lot of people. They had a lot of those guys will have most of their organization there. They want to meet you in person up in the room, and they have these weird times. I've been to the combine. They meet kids at like 10:30 at night, 11 o'clock at night up in the room with their staff. They just sit around just talking, just getting to know a kid, asking them all kinds of personal questions, and because they want to know you're their future.
Right. Oh, absolutely. And always some weird questions asked from teams to players. Always love hearing those stories about players at the combine talking about the weird
if your mom's a hooker or stuff. I think they've kind of chilled out of that stupid stuff.
Is your mom a hooker?
Who was that to ask something about their mom was like a former prostitute or something back in the day? Some kid from Miami years ago. They quit with the dumb stuff. They quit being too personal.
How is that a test? What is that test? To see if the guy's going to like react and punch you in the face? Like,
probably.
Oh, he's got an attitude problem?
So, you mean you found out my mother took drugs? You need to ask me that question?
Don't be talking about my mama. Boom.
Yeah.
Hey, there's 31 other teams. There's 31 other GMs. I don't care about you. Don't be talking about my mama like that.
That's right.
Oh, man. Couple other Longhorn numbers, by the way. Jack Endry's running a 4.62 at tight end. And DJ Campbell, if anyone cares, running a 5.01 as an offensive lineman.
There you go. There's the old 5.1, 5.2. Yeah, 5.01. That's not bad.
And Jalen Gilbo, by the way, did not participate. Didn't run a 40. Didn't do any of the on-field drills. I don't know if he's nursing an injury or what's going on with him, but it's a little surprised that he got the invitation in the first place. And doesn't sound like he did a whole lot while he was up there.
It sounded like he was prepared for it unless he was hurt.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'm sure he met with teams and talked to important people, but didn't really do a whole lot of the drills over the weekend, which that's a guy I think who needed it more than any other Longhorn who got the invite, because That's the guy I think has the lowest chance of getting drafted of these 7 Texas players who were in Indy. So a little surprised to see that happen. Maybe there's some sort of injury or something that he was nursing. And
Yeah,
look, if you're hurt, you're banged up, you don't want to put on a bad performance. That's worse than not performing at all. So he'll get the chance in Austin at Pro Day. But yeah, there you go. Some combine conversation from the weekend. We are 1 week away from the pads coming on, 1 week away from the very first spring practice for the 2026 Texas Longhorns. Want to get your thoughts, Buck. I wrote down a list of a ranking of the position groups that I am most confident in going into the spring. I mean, we'll be talking storylines, we'll be talking position battles, we'll be previewing spring ball all week long, and obviously we'll be talking about spring practice once it actually gets going 1 week from today. But I want to get your thoughts in terms of just maybe the groups or the rooms that have the least questions going into the start of spring practice.
Well, I think the least questions, I think the running back room now with the 2 veterans that they have right now is pretty solid. You know, you want to see them, you'd like to see them run with the offensive line, but I don't think they're going to have a problem. The only problems for me with them is how do they get indoctrinated to the passing game. I mean, who is the guy out of the two transfer guys that really comes out of the backfield and looks like a wide receiver / running back? You know, that'll be something to look at it in spring practice. Once they get pads on, how do these dudes catch with the pads on? You know, playing catchy catch is fine and playing 7-on-7 with no pads on. But once that got that helmet on your head and shoulder pads on, BK gets a little weird angles of balls and how you handle that. So I'd be interested in seeing how they catch little simple swing passes and go one-on-one option routes versus linebackers, things like that. I think the wide receiver group is going to be obviously something that on the offensive side you're going to look at how they, not just how they work together, but how they work some individual routes. You know, what do you think of? I mean, Cam Coleman is going to look smooth as silk. I mean, for a guy who's kind of tall, he's going to look smooth. He just is that he's going to be a gamer anyway. But Ryan Wingo, how's he progressed with his hands, things like that? You're going to want to know. You want to know about that. I don't even know what the tight end is. The tight end group is whatever. I mean, that's you like for somebody to really step up and step out there and be the guy, and you can count on them. But you need 2 guys because those guys are like offensive linemen. They do a lot of blocking, a lot of people stepping on their ankles, on their feet. So the next guy has to look like the first guy. Do you have a next guy that looks like the first guy? Hell, do you have a first guy that looks like the first guy, really? You know?
So tight ends is not in the conversation. You started with 2 groups that you're most confident in, and then you went to tight ends. You're not feeling good about the tight ends?
And I don't know does anybody really care?
Yeah.
I mean, how good do they have to look? Do they just have to be? I mean, is that a position that you think that just needs to be adequate? Doesn't need to be. Doesn't need to have a real standout person. If they're using 2 of them to get 1 out of 2 or 3, is that okay?
Considering the receivers and running backs that they have, maybe. But, I mean, look at what Jatavion Sanders did in this offense. Look at what Gunnar Helm did in this offense. Like, those guys were more than adequate, and they were –
Well, for this group, they don't have those 2 guys.
No, definitely not. But, okay, I thought you just meant generally speaking. Do I think the tight end here –
Generally speaking, we saw what we had out of Sanders, Gunnar Helm, even the dude last year. But do you have that? Is it going to take 2 guys to make 1 that's even close to any of those guys right now, or is it going to take 3 guys?
Well, Jack Andrews didn't put up ridiculous numbers this past season. I think it was a bit underwhelming based on, what Gunnar Helm did the year before and kind of what Jack Andrews had done his year before at Cal. Only 33 catches and 346 yards for Jack Andrews. So I think Nick Townsend or Michael Masunis, one of those guys, probably Townsend would be my favorite because I think he has the highest ceiling and the most potential as a receiving threat at tight end for this team. I think that guy could get around those numbers this year. I don't think he's going to get
to those numbers. You'd be okay with those. Those numbers would be okay.
Yeah, I think so, especially with how good your wide receivers are. Because I think Cam Coleman's going to be around 1,000 yards. I think Ryan Wingo could be around 1,000 yards. I think, both Raleek Brown and Hollywood Smothers, you're talking about them coming out of the backfield as receiving threats. Both of those guys had at least 34 catches this past season. So
yeah, so I would say, yes, I need an adequate tight end.
Yeah, so it's not a foreign language for them to catch passes. So, look, there's only one ball. I mean, I think Arch is going to put up some really, really good numbers this season, but it's going to be hard for every single weapon on the Texas offense to put up crazy stats. And yeah, I think the tight ends aren't as talented as the receivers. I think that's pretty safe to say. So
No
I don't
doubt.
think their numbers are going to be crazy like that at all. And then look, I think a big part of the tight ends role for this team this year will be blocking. Like Texas went out and added one tight end from the portal with Michael Masunas coming in from Michigan State. He's a decent receiving threat. I think he had like 18 or 19 catches this past year and a couple of touchdowns for the Spartans, but he's more of an inline blocking kind of guy. And Texas likes to run 12 personnel with one running back and two tight ends on the field. They couldn't do it last year because, well, the running backs weren't very good, but also they didn't have tight ends who could really block consistently. So they hope that, okay, with Michael Masunas coming in and Spencer Shannon and Nick Townsend and Amari Winston, those guys can give you enough in the blocking game, both for the run, but also, hey, we need to max protect a little bit because we're going to send Cam Coleman and Ryan Wingo on goes. So we need to make sure Arch has enough time to get the ball down the field. I think like that's where you're going to notice the tight ends making their most impact.
Yeah, because they use Jack Injuries a lot in motion as some in the line blocking guy. And I was like, no, he's going to get blown up. He doesn't want to do that. He's willing, but he's not able. So you keep doing that at the point of attack. I think the kid from Michigan State is going to be a little bit different. I mean, he's built a little bit more in the mold of a tight end that can block and understands what that part of the game is. I think you're going to get a lot out of that. I think you're going to get a lot more than you did from Jack Injuries, really.
Yeah. Jack Injuries was an average at best blocker. I mean, hammer hands, Jordan Washington, they put 40 pounds of weight on that guy, and I feel like got worse at blocking. Like he couldn't.
Yeah, they put too much on him too quick.
Right. They couldn't block you or me in a phone booth. So, they didn't have that last year. I mean, it's, again, part of the reason why the run game was so bad. Everybody focuses on the offensive line. Well, an extension of the offensive line is your tight ends being able to block, and Texas just didn't get any of that on the perimeter. So, they made it a point of emphasis to address that need this offseason, and I hope those guys make a big impact. It's clear Sark wanted to get this running game turned around. He obviously did it with the additions of Raleek Brown and Hollywood Smothers, but adding Michael Masunas as well, I think, kind of shows.
Yeah, that's a big part of the run game. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, what he's looking to do. But I'm with you in terms of, like, those are the two groups that I wrote down that I'm most confident in going into the spring. I think the wide receiver room is the best room on this team, which is crazy considering how much that Texas lost, right? There was a time when it's like, oh, DeAndre Moore is out of here, and Aaron Butler is out of here, and Parker Dedston is out of here. It's like you're losing guys who are, contributors, especially with Demo and Judas Livingston, whatever you want to call him, that guy at Oklahoma who we no longer care about. Like you're losing guys who are a big part of this offense this past year. Jamie French also hitting the portal, another guy who was expected to be a big part of things moving forward. And, for Texas to go out and get Cam Coleman, obviously to add Sterling Burkhalter as well pretty late in the cycle. I mean, this room has everything you're looking for. They've got NFL talent. They've got experience. They've got depth. They've got, old guys, young guys, and everything in between. Like, it is a loaded group that I think is going to be special.
Yeah, I mean, with the exception of what they've done on the defensive line, this group has been, when Sark has gone out and gotten the kind of guys he wants as wide receivers, I mean, A+ over the last couple of years. It just has worked out that way, and it looks like it's going to be that way again. So I don't think that's going to ever change. He's going to go get the best he can get when it comes to wide receivers, quarterback, wide receiver, and now he just showed you what he's going to do with the running back room. So that is. I don't expect that to be anything but the best. I don't expect it to come out of the year, game 3 or 4 saying, man, boy, I was expecting more out of the wide receiver and what's out of those guys. Those guys are good, period.
Oh, it's not. Look, I'm glad. I mean, it's sort of an entire roster conversation, but even at wide receiver last year, I mean, Steve Sarkisian just got one guy with Emmett Mosley V, who, was really good. Obviously got hurt in fall camp and missed the first month of the season. So he had to ramp up kind of through the middle of the year. And I think that impacted his play a little bit, but I thought he had a very solid second half of the year. And
sure,
I think most Texas fans feel good about him. But yeah, like last year, he didn't, the year before it was Matthew Golden. It was Isaiah Bond. I mean, they brought in and Silas Bolden. And obviously A.D. Mitchell the year before that. And I thought Texas just didn't attack the portal hard enough last year at any position. And obviously this year, pretty much every position they did. But at wide receiver, it wasn't just like, oh, let's get this guy from Stanford late in the cycle. It's no, we want this dude. This is the very best wide receiver out there. He's maybe the best player in the transfer portal. Like, we need that impactful piece opposite of Ryan Wingo and Emmett Mosley, who is going to make a difference. Not just be here and be solid, but we need a guy who is going to change the game for our offense this year. And I like that. Obviously, I think every
this is not like getting Isaiah Bond. This is different. This guy.
This is not like it. Like when Matthew Golden got here, Buck, no one thought he was going to be a first-round pick.
No,
he was kind of the after. Right. It was like Isaiah Bond was supposed to be the best of the best. Right. It was like Silas Bolden from Oregon State has all these numbers and experience. And then, oh, cool, Matthew Golden, like he played well against Texas when he was at Houston, and like he's a solid player, so he'll be a nice piece. Like with Cam Coleman, it's like, no, this guy, like he's awesome.
This like, when he got Matthew Golden, it was almost in my mind like this staff had, whether it was the receiver coach, Sark said, that guy is more than what you see at Houston. He's way more. We played against him a couple of years. He's way more than what you think he is. He's not just a good player. He's a great player. And if we can get him in our offense, we make him even better. And that's what happened. That's Cam Coleman is a guy who's a great player coming to your program. That if he just gets in tune with your quarterback, it's going to be some fun watching it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, everybody already knows Cam Coleman, right? That dude's a household name. And look, I think he's going to elevate his game to another level, playing in Sark's offense, playing with Arch Manning and all the other talent around him on offense.
Absolutely.
I think his best is yet to come. But, look, I mean, Chris Jackson, I think we think has done a fine job as this wide receivers coach. Sark has a tremendous history of developing wide receivers. That's a big part of why Cam Coleman ended up signing here in the first place. I trust that those guys are going to get the most out of Cam, but not only Cam, just that entire room as well. And I think there's a lot to work with too. I don't want to like disparage the coaches, but you don't have to work that hard with Cam Coleman. That guy's already freaking good on his own.
Yes.
And, some of the other guys that you have are already, they got some talent too. So it's not like you're working with you and me out there. You're working with some studs, turning them into.
Sometimes just don't screw it up.
Yeah. Sometimes.
Don't overcoach.
Don't overcoach. All right, we'll continue this conversation. More thoughts on Texas spring practice, diving into the position rooms that we feel best about. We'll get back into the running back conversation and also look over on the defensive side of the football as well. But before we go any further, Buck, how about a few more sponsor shout-outs?
Our good friends over at Sue Patrick, of course, since 1975, the incredible selection of Texas Longhorn apparel. Of course, and they've got tons of Texas-themed items, books, gifts, you name it. A wide variety of men's and women's clothing in all sizes. Sue Patrick offers free shipping on online orders, $59 or more, free curbside pickup, and plenty of parking space at 5222 Burnett Road. And don't forget those Nike on-field fitted caps that they've got right now. They've got all the ball caps that you're looking for. Wear what the players are wearing right now. They got adult jerseys right now in white and pinstripe and gray, youth jerseys, of course, in gray and burnt orange and ivory, folks. Go check out the selections that they have over there at 5222 Burnett Road. And for more information, go to SuePatrick.com. And always, and do remember, the Jelly Cats. The greatest selection of Jelly Cats there are in the world.
In the universe.
In the universe then, yes.
The galaxy.
In the whole galaxy. You won't find anything, you won't find more than you'll find at Sue Patrick.
I love Sue Patrick. Also love audio-visual consultations. The month of March is upon us.
Yes.
One of the best sports months of the year. Obviously, March Madness is just a couple of weeks away. Selection Sunday is 1 week from this coming Sunday. But conference tournaments are about to get going. Heck, the women's conference tournaments start this week. You've got the men's starting next week. And then obviously the big dances will be here before you know it. Plus golf is in full swing.
The Masters is just around the corner.
Masters right around the corner. Obviously, Major League Baseball will get started later this month. You've got hockey back. You've got basketball going on. You've got a lot happening in the world of sports right now, which means it's the perfect time to make the call to audio-visual consultations. I've got 4 TVs on one wall at my place. And, during March Madness, they will show 4 games at once. And unlike some of you jabronis out there, I don't have to be like changing the channel. Like, oh my God, there are 2 games that are about to finish here. which game do I pick? I don't know what to do. I just get to watch both of them. All I have to do is move my eyes. It's a beautiful thing. AV Consultations can do that for you. If you want that man cave or woman cave with a bunch of screens on one wall, they can. Maybe you're like the Buck. You want the 85-inch screen. They can make that happen. Home theater rooms, patio TV setups. They can do it all for you. They've been hooking up Central Texas since 1988. They can hook you up as well. All you have to do is give them a call, 512-255-8678. Find out more information online at avconsultations.com.
And you're talking about a guy who does it the right way. Tom McKay, I'll let folks know this. This guy's amazing. He's been amazing for my Mullet Open golf tournament and for the 25th annual Mullet Open. Tom McKay is giving away 2 85-inch screen TVs.
Two?
Not one, but 2.
Whoa.
2 for the 25th annual Mullet Open. And and I know people are going to start asking me, how do I get in? You can't get in. It's done. It filled up back when we started this in January. So I'm sorry to say there is no room at the end. But for those that'll be there, they don't know what's about to hit them. But to start our big raffle, there will be a 85-inch screen given away. And at the end of our big raffle, there'll be an 80. How about that? 2 of those. 2 of those that I'm looking at around the corner. Not one, but dose. It's awesome.
You mind rigging that for me? I could use another screen, sir.
You know how many calls I've had on the rig job? And you know, that is such a legitimate raffle. It's always been, it always will be. So
yeah, no question about that, right?
No questions asked.
No questions asked. Yep. Shout out AV Consultations. Make the call today. And also some love to Altstadt Beer. I had more than a few Altstadt beers this weekend. A lot of celebrating going on this weekend. Love the Altstadt Beer. Was out at Kelly's Irish Pub once again on Saturday night, enjoying some Altstats with a few buddies. They've got it all across town. So if you're going to be hitting the town to watch some of those great sports that we just talked about, make sure you get you some Altstadt Beer. Whatever you have going on in this warm weather here in Central Texas, watching sports, hanging out with friends and family, just chilling at home, it does not matter. Maybe you've got a case of the Mondays today. Maybe you're celebrating Texas Independence Day. You can do it with a beer brewed in Fredericksburg, Texas. It's my choice of beer. Should be yours as well. It is Altstadt Beer. No impurities, no regrets.
All right. Now, let me ask you this. Now, when we just got through talking about offensive football. What about on the defensive side? What are you going to need to – what's going to need some help? It's obviously with a guy like Michael Taft going, you still need help at safety. You got to – and it's hard to see that from a fan's perspective, because we don't see practice. That's almost one of those got to get in the you got to get the pads on, BK, because you got to know when to let up. You can't hit this guy. You got to come up. You got to be supportive as a run guy. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see where they go. Michael Taft has been there, it seems like, forever.
Yeah.
You know, some people will say to me, that's not going to be hard to replace. I think it is. That leadership and what he's brought to the program back there is going to be, it's not going to be easy to replace. I'll say that.
Yeah, the safety position's an interesting one because obviously you lose Michael Taft. Look, getting Jelani McDonald to come back for another year was massive. Massive. I mean, he's one of the best players on this team, a team leader, and a guy who just broke out in 2025. So I expect him to be even better in 2026, more of a leadership role, but also just a better player on the field every Saturday too. So convincing him to stick around makes that room look a lot different than obviously what it would have looked like if he decided to also depart for the NFL. But, you know, it's interesting. That's a storyline going into the spring. Is Texas is a little shorthanded right now at the safety position. Obviously, Jonah Williams is playing baseball. Xavier Filsaime is coming off of an injury. He's one of those guys that had off-season surgery, so he may be limited early on, starting next week. And then Zealous Hicks has been dealing with the foot issue, one of the young safeties on your team. So that's like three of your top.
Some other youngsters going to get an opportunity.
Yeah, that's like 3 of your top 5 safeties on the depth chart who are either playing a different sport or injured right now. So, yeah, I mean, some young guys will get an opportunity, but it'll be interesting to see, you know, if Texas is cross-training some other defensive backs there just to get him some run at safety, just to make sure, okay, if we get to the regular season and we've got a bunch of guys in this room dealing with ailments, are we going to be okay? But, yeah, that's something to look at right now. That's definitely a question mark. Again, better to have these guys hurt right now than, you know, 1 month away from the start of the actual season, but Texas is a little bit limited on the back end on defense going into the spring.
Yeah, it's just that experience back there that you're going to miss out on. I mean, they always have plenty of athletes, and once again, for those guys, you just got to see them in pads. They can run around without the pads on, or just helmets and move around. I got to see them in how they move and how they react when they've got to really come up, run support, and do some of those things. And you don't see a lot of that in spring. You just see them in the area. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of hitting that's going to go on. There's not a lot of live hitting. But when it's time to live hit and you have those scrimmages, those spring scrimmages, that's where you got to see those guys show up.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And look, we talked about it being great that Jelani McDonald came back. Also great that Derek Williams Jr. came back. Remember, he at least there were reports that he was entering the transfer portal.
That's true.
And I think a big part of him coming back, I don't know if he ever officially showed up in the portal or if it was just he was leaning towards doing it and decided to change his mind and stay. But Blake Gideon coming back, getting rehired as a defensive backs coach, a huge part of the reason why Derek Williams decided to return to Austin. Obviously, those guys worked together a couple of years ago when Gideon was on the staff in 2024.
He's a freshman.
They had a great relationship. And look, Derek Williams, before he got hurt, and, you never know. Obviously, C.J. Baxter sort of dominated this conversation. We're all like hoping, okay, well, C.J. Baxter, can he get back to the player he was before the injury? The answer, at least during his Texas career, was no. With Derek Williams Jr., the hope is the answer is yes. Now, last year, the answer was no. He didn't play a ton, and when he was out there, he didn't look that good. But, man, before this guy got hurt, he was one of the bright spots in the Texas secondary in 2023 as a true freshman.
Yeah, 2 years removed, maybe that'll be a little bit different. You're right.
Yeah, in 2024, I mean, he was off to a great start. Had a takeaway in the Michigan game, had a takeaway in the Oklahoma game, but he got hurt in the win over Oklahoma in the 2024 season and missed the rest of that year. And, again, it impacted him in 2025. So can he get back to being he's a high 4-star recruit, a huge recruiting win out of the state of Louisiana, and, again, showed a lot early on in his Texas career. He doesn't need to start, which is the good thing. But, man, if he could be a good number 3 or number 4 safety who – if one of your starters goes down or just, hey, you want to rotate some guys during a game, if he can be like 80% of the guy he was pre-knee injury, then you've got something there.
Yeah, it's just tough because I think, we get so used to these guys doing these miracle comebacks after knee surgery, but not everybody comes back. Not everybody's the same, and at certain positions when you're off to that, that 70%, but you look better than a lot of guys, it's just not enough. And he's got to be the guy who can come up and strike. He's got to cover. He's got to do a lot of things. So maybe going on 2 years removed, maybe there'll be a difference in how he looks.
That's the hope. Yeah, the secondary, I think my biggest question on the Texas defense is with the secondary, right? I feel really good about the defensive line. We could talk about them in a moment. Feel really good about the job they did addressing linebacker in the transfer portal. The secondary, though, I mean, you're losing some key pieces, right, with Manny Muhammad and Jalen Gilbo, who are your starting corners for the majority of last season. Obviously, you talked about Michael Taff. So can they replace those guys? And look, the secondary, it needs to be better. It's not like, can they be as good as what they were last year?
No, they weren't that good. That wasn't good enough.
They made Blake Shapen look like Joe Montana in Starkville, Mississippi last year. And there were just a lot of moments where opposing quarterbacks just had way too much easy against this Texas secondary. And it's a big part of the reason why Dwayne Akina is not here, and also Pete Kwiatkowski is not here anymore.
And BK, when I kept saying, I wonder how this defensive line is going to do. How many years in a row can you do that? They've lost over the last 2 to 3 years some important pieces in their secondary. So maybe I should have been looking more at why the secondary has suffered, considering that they've lost a bunch of guys that are playing in the NFL that are first and second round picks. You know what I'm saying?
Last year was the first year where they really did. 2023, the secondary was awful, and it was a lot of the same guys back for 2024. You obviously added Andrew Makuba, who was incredible. But, yeah, no, you're right. I mean, they lost the Thorpe Award winner last year. They lost Andrew Makuba, who was a second-round pick last year. Like, those guys were two of the best DBs in the sports.
Right.
And they were not easy to replace.
No. So, as I look at the defensive line, I should have looked at the secondary and said, those guys aren't going to be easy to replace. We know we got some guys with really unbelievable talent, but these are NFL players that you just lost. I mean, real NFL guys that you just lost.
Yeah.
And you had 2 of them back there, along with Michael Taft. I mean, that was incredible.
It was. It absolutely was. It was a big part of why Texas made the SEC title game and why they won a couple
Right.
of playoff games. And, it was a top 10 passing defense. Heck, it was a top 5 passing defense going into the college football playoff. And this past year, 2025, Texas ranked 89th in the country in terms of passing yards per game
Yeah.
allowed, which is the metric most people typically use to look at a secondary.
That
So,
definitely has to change.
yeah, it does. It absolutely. So it's like, yeah, you're losing an experienced guy with Michael Taft. You're losing your best corner in Manny Muhammad, and the challenge is you need to be better, like a lot better than what you
Yes.
just were.
You need to be a lot better. Yes.
So they went out and got Bo Masco from Rutgers, who I think is a really good piece. I think he's going to be one of the 2 starting outside corners for this Texas team. And now it's on, Blake Gideon and Mark Orfe, and obviously in part Coach Boom to make sure that those guys are significantly better than what they were. And, I have some questions at cornerback too. Cade Phillips, true freshman who came on very strong at the end of last year and took Jalen Gilbo's starting spot away from him. I'm still not 100% sold that guy is going to be ready to go and be potentially a number 1 corner for this Texas team this year. Then you've got Kobe Black as your number 3, and Warren Roberson is back. And
what's crazy is a lot of those guys, like Kobe Black, they started to come on as the season went on later, which is you'd have loved to see them kind of early be a little bit better. But I'm just taking the experience they got, that they will be much better to start the season because they're going to get tested in week 2. That.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, Kobe Black. It was interesting because I thought he was struggling some down the stretch, and it felt like he had fallen out of the good graces of this coaching staff. But he played a lot against A&M and had an interception. Yes. It was great in that game against the Aggies.
Absolutely. That may have been the thing that sparked him. That game alone may have been the deal that's going to spark him, that he's going to be something special. He may take that right into the, right through the football season, into the spring workouts in the summer, into the football season, and be a special player.
Be nice. He's 6'2", 200 pounds. He's big. He's physical. He's the type of size and body type that you'd want as a cornerback in the SEC.
No
doubt. And look, again, he was struggling for a little bit last year, and there were some rumors behind the scenes that he was about the portal. He was going to be first guy out the door when the season came to an end. And even in the offseason, there was some thought. I think there were some reports that Kobe Black was maybe considering going to the transfer portal. But ultimately, Texas was able to convince him to stay. And,
that hiring of Blake Gideon may have really, that put some gum in some of the holes in that ship, for some of these guys not to even talk about going. Now they're going to stay.
Yeah, that's needed. There's not a ton of experience. Your most experienced guy at corner is Bo Masco, but he hasn't played a snap of football here at Texas. And he's played a lot of college ball.
Let's not forget where he's from.
Right, your favorite school, Rutgers.
Yes, of course.
Now Rutgers, he doesn't have to play against Rutgers, so he doesn't get the benefit of putting up good numbers against Rutgers players. He has to play against Ohio State and Oregon and Indiana and Michigan. So he's battle tested there, which is a good thing. Obviously, he's got the relationship with Mark Orfe as well, so those guys know each other and they know what to expect out of one another from their shared time at Rutgers.
Yes, but we don't have any other staff members from Rutgers here, right? We just have player and coach now.
Well, Kyle Flood coached at Rutgers.
Back in the day?
Yeah, he was the head coach at Rutgers.
Oh, gee, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so there's some Rutgers, some Scarlet Knight on this staff.
Just bringing that Scarlet Knight in.
Yeah, everyone's favorite assistant coach, Kyle Flood.
No, we'll be talking about him as we talk about spring ball.
Yeah, definitely. That's the big question for everybody right now. So there you go. This was supposed to be a conversation about which groups you're feeling most confident in, and now it turned into.
How about the quarterback?
Yeah, that's up there too. It's not just Arch Manning when you're talking about you talk about the quarterback room here. We're talking about position rooms, and I think Texas has done a great job building up that room. I like the addition of MJ Morris, right, going to get that experienced backup who's got starting experience in college football under his belt. Obviously, the Longhorns have recruited very well with KJ Lacey going into year 2. Diabell, the 5-star, one of the top 4 quarterbacks in the class, coming in as a freshman. I think it's from top to bottom one of the best quarterback rooms in the country.
And we'll get to see him in the spring game.
We'll get to see him in the spring game. coming up, which is big. Yeah, I mean, look, Arch Manning's obviously the guy. There's no mystery there, but
No.
the battle for QB2 this year between MJ Morris and KJ Lacey is one worth watching. And obviously the battle for the heir apparent to Arch Manning is going to be one worth watching. You know, MJ Morris is not a part of that conversation because he's a one and done rental. But okay, 2027, KJ Lacey or Dia Bell. The hope is that one of those guys is able to show us enough spring, summer, fall to where, like, okay, you feel really good about one of those guys taking over.
Well, no doubt, because you can go ahead and knock on wood, but, you know, eventually one of those guys will get in a meaningful game somewhere in the SEC, because that's just what happens at Texas.
Yeah, no, you're probably right. I think it's like 21 of the last 25 years of Texas football, the Longhorns have needed multiple quarterbacks over the course of a season. And it's not because one's playing bad. It's because one it gets hurt. So we saw it with Arch Manning last year. I know Arch started every game, but obviously got the concussion in the Mississippi State game and had to leave. And Matthew Caldwell came in and threw the game-winning touchdown pass in overtime in Stark Vegas, which was great. But yeah, odds are long season, 9-game conference schedule with Ohio State. You've got to make sure that you've got.
Yeah, guy number 2 has to be really good.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he absolutely does. It's not just a long-term conversation. It's a short-term thing too. And then, you know, taking it back to the long-term, as I say, it's not just a long-term conversation. I mean, you wonder, like, Texas obviously went and got Quinn Ewers from the portal. But, you know, Quinn Ewers was here for 3 years as the starter. Arch Manning will be going into year 2 as the starter. You see all of these schools around the country. Heck, we saw it this offseason. They go and pay millions and millions of dollars for a QB in the portal. And it's nice that Texas didn't have to do that because they were able to spend their money on guys like Cam Coleman and Rasheem Biles and the 2 running backs and all that. You wonder if, again, conversation obviously for well in the future, but will one of Dia Bell or KJ Lacey show this coaching staff enough over the course of the year to where they feel like, no, we don't need to do that. Like, this guy's ready to go and be one of the best quarterbacks in the conference. Or
they want to. They want to so badly. They want to keep that. They want to keep who they recruited, you know, and as they sit for a year or 2, that they're going to be ready to go, that they don't have to go to the transfer portal to feel a number 1 quarterback unless he's just a blue chip number 1. You're going to pay for him, and he's going to still get you into the playoffs. They're going to want their recruits that they see and all that they've grown up with, that they've seen them since 9th and 8th grade and all that stuff. That's what they're going to be looking to do. That's the success you want to have in your program, because, you know, although things are changing in the landscape of college football, because those dudes don't ever stay, it seems like, you know, like 80% of them, they come and they're gone before their time is up. Well, Texas is doing pretty good with that right now. They want to keep that thing going that way.
Yeah. And I think in a perfect world, one of those guys develops into your next quote unquote franchise QB.
Absolutely.
Will it happen? I mean, we will wait and see. And look, I think if Texas goes out and wins a national championship this year with Arch Manning as their quarterback, I don't think fans will be as like hard on Steve Sarkisian. Hey, we need another great quarterback. Go spend $5 million in the portal to get him. But if Texas like comes up just short and maybe the offense lets the Longhorns down again in a crucial spot, and then, you know, you're losing Arch Manning to the NFL, that it might be, Sark, we're not going to give you this benefit of the doubt to like, oh, hopefully your young developing quarterback is ready to go. It's like, no, you better go get somebody who's going to actually get us over this hump this time around.
You're right. Yeah.
Maybe what happens this year.
You're going to go get one of those 8th year guys that are fighting with the state to come back for an 8th year.
Hey, Trinidad Chambliss, let's go get him next year.
He'll be available.
You know, that guy never wants to leave college. So,
no.
He's done enough. Played a lot at Ole Miss. The Mississippi judge ruled him eligible this year. Maybe a Texas judge can rule him eligible next year.
Guy at Tennessee will be eligible again. He's ready for another one.
Joey Aguilar?
Oh, yeah. He'll look for one more. Why not?
I know he tried. I think he got shut down. I wonder if he's trying to find somebody else.
A little bounce back in a different state.
Who else can I sue? Oh, maybe he's going with the Ron McKelvey roster imposter bid. Trying to put on the Bobby Valentine disguise and show up to a different college. Chad Powers, whatever.
Somebody's coming out of the woodworks to be looking for an 8th year.
Yeah, always. There always is. It's been half the show over the last month is talking about these college football players not wanting to leave college football. But I do like the quarterback room as, we bring that conversation full circle. I like the insurance policy with MJ Morris, and then, Texas adding a blue chip QB seemingly every year.
Yes.
I do feel like one of those guys, like the loser of the Diabell, KJ Lacey battle, is probably going to end up portaling elsewhere down the road. Because again, one guy's a redshirt freshman, one guy's a true freshman. So it's not like whoever wins that job is going to start for a year and then they'll be done. It's like, no, these guys will be your guys for multiple seasons. So you're going to have to sit multiple seasons if you want to stay at Texas. But I don't know. It's a first world problem, I guess, that Texas has right there. Too many good quarterbacks to pick from.
BK, I'm really interested in the freshman running back that's coming in too, to go along with these two transfer portal guys. Is he going to step in and look at the rest of those guys and say, really? They had to go out and find two guys in the portal because you guys aren't getting it done? You got guys who have left this program at the University of Texas at the running back position. I hope he's that guy who's got that kind of confidence in himself. Yeah,
I hope so too. I mean, I don't know if there's anything Derek Cooper can do to be one of the top two running backs on this team.
No, those guys are just they just come in and they're special, and you're going to hear about it in the spring. If that's the case, you'll hear about it shortly.
Yeah. But Derek Cooper, look, I think it's kind of a battle between him and James Simon right now for RB3. James Simon, a 4-star recruit, not as highly touted coming into Texas as Derek Cooper was, but he does have the age and experience advantage by already being on campus for a year. He obviously has a few college football games under his belt as well. But look,
if you're good enough, you're old enough.
Yeah, well, you're going to need 3 running backs over the course of a year.
Yes, you will.
All 4 of those guys are going to play. It's not like whoever is RB4 is never going to see the field at all, but RB3 might end up being a pretty significant piece for you this season. So
yeah, it's hard for 2 guys to stay healthy in the course of, now you got 9 conference games. That's hard to have your guy look fresh and ready to go your first 2.
Yeah, it'll be nice. I mean, look, Bijan Robinson was a true freshman and had a tremendous season at Texas back in 2020. Now, I'm not saying Derek Cooper is going to be anything close to Bijan Robinson this year, but I bring that up.
Who knows until they get the pads on?
I know he's not going to be Bijan Robinson this year. I think we all know. But, yeah, I mean, like, I bring that up to say we've seen freshman running backs here make an impact. Like, it's possible. And as you like to say, quoting P. Diddy, if you're good enough, you're old enough.
Yes.
Derek Cooper is going to get the opportunity with a new running back coach at Texas.
Yes, he is.
To showcase what he's all about. And, I mean, he's one of the biggest running backs on this team. So, a short yardage guy, goal line guy, if nothing else, I think.
Hey, just get me in the game. Find a way to get me in.
Yeah. I don't know. You like his game?
Yeah, I mean, I like his, his size. And he's a little bit different than Michael Terry, who's trying to figure it out. What am I really? You know what I'm saying? This kid already knows what he is. He knows how to run like a running back. This other kid I think they're still touting him as a running back right now until spring comes when they find another position to throw him to.
Now you've given up on the Michael Terry running back experience.
It's not going to take them very long to do that.
That's just
the way ball goes,
He was working out there late last year and has been working out there all off season long. So he's made it this far.
Okay. Well, you know why? Because he knows the plays.
Yeah, that helps. Also, that's the thing. Like the Texas running back room is really good. I'm with you. I feel confident about it, but the confidence comes from the top 2 guys.
Yes.
Outside of that, I think Derek Cooper is going to be very good, but we don't know because he hasn't played. James Simon didn't play after the Oklahoma game last year. And, you've got Jet Walker, the other guy you signed, but there's a lot of questions outside of the top 2. So, which of those guys steps up, but also I think part of the reason Michael Terry is there is because there's just not as many bodies at running back as there is at some of the other positions that you have.
Oh, no, I take it that the coaches were, efficient enough to understand what a talented running back looked like, not somebody that they had to try to make into a running back who's played different positions. You're hoping it'll work out, but you don't have one that's what he did for a living. I mean, he's coming out of high school doing mostly that. So you've got to teach him how to, body lean and different things like that, how to hit holes. You're still working on that, where the natural guys who just come from the high school ranks or the portal ranks, they know exactly what to do. They know how to run. So it's, as I said, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah. We'll say this: Michael Terry did run a lot in high school. Put up more than 2,000 yards rushing in his high school career, so he's done it before. Yeah, he's kind of a tweener guy right now, though, at Texas, and I don't know. Part of me thinks tight end might be his best spot if he could put on a few more pounds, but I don't know if he can block at all, and that's a big
those guys
part of this
they'll
offense.
put on 60 pounds on him, and he'll be too big.
I tried that with Jordan Washington, who it didn't work at all. That guy was brought in to be a tight end, and then didn't work. Michael Terry,
being a tackle, they brought him in to be a tackle.
They tried to put on that weight to make him one, and he ended up transferring to Jordan Hudson land at UNC. Get to be a part of that. So, yeah, we'll see. A lot of storylines, obviously, to dive into. We'll do it throughout the course of the week. We'll be talking plenty of Texas spring ball on this show moving forward. But, yeah, position rooms I feel great about. Running back, wide receiver. I like the quarterback room on offense.
Yes.
And then the defensive line and the linebackers, I think, are very good. So offensive line is a big question for most. The secondary, I think, is your biggest question on defense. But
and one thing we'll have, I know it's springtime, but you got to start gathering. Your special teams got to be exceptional this year.
Sure. And it's got to be better. It can't just be Ryan Niblett. I mean, he was obviously a difference maker, an All-American punt returner last year, and hopefully we get more of the same from him. But Texas, they got to be better in a lot of other areas on special teams too.
No doubt.
I mean, the kicker was good. Mason Shipley was good. The punter was good. Obviously, both of those guys are gone. You brought in a new kicker and a punter, so I think the kicking game was solid. But just in terms of the penalties and kickoffs were an issue. They're areas that Jeff Banks has to get better at this year.
No doubt, man. You're right.
All right, we'll take your thoughts. Dakota text line 512-222-9328. Of course, the YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch live chats are rocking and rolling as well. Got some Texas baseball conversation to get into. We'll give some love to the women's basketball team and the BBK news still to come as well. But before anything else, how about a few more sponsor shout-outs?
Folks, Relaxed Back embraces a holistic approach for a healthier lifestyle, and my back couldn't be happier. 35 years of proven expertise. And if you go over to one of their locations, check out the zero gravity recliners, of course, Tempur-Pedic mattresses, pillows, the office. And how about this? How about this chair right here? This is my favorite. This is the best chair made. That's right. I'm calling it the best chair made. For over 20 some years, BK, I've been in this chair, not giving it up. It gives my lumbar area the support it needs. And I had major surgery on my thoracic back. And boy, my back feels so good when I'm sitting in this chair. And you can find an accessory at the Relax the Back store that's going to help out your shoulders. As I said, your back, your lumbar area, your thoracic area. It can be found at the Hill Country Galleria right across from Whole Foods and in North Austin, the Gateway Shopping Center across from the Container Store. Live pain-free like the Buck at Relax the Back.
Yes, indeed. Love Relax the Back. Also love our guy, Mike McCall, and his great team at McCall Custom Homes. If you're looking to upgrade your space here in 2026, McCall Custom Homes, they are the folks to call. New kitchen, new bathroom. Maybe you want to add some new life to your outdoor space. Maybe you've got a new member of the family on the way and you want to add on a new part to your home. McCall Custom Homes can make it all happen for you. It's a father-son team with more than 4 decades of experience here in Central Texas, so they know what it takes to turn a Central Texas home into something truly special. The Buck has had tons of work done at his place by Mike McCall and his great team, and he's not alone. Tons of 5-star reviews online. They're A+ rated by the BBB. Again, not a fly-by-night company. These guys have been around. They are going to stay around. They are the best there is. McCall Custom Homes, ATX.com. Free estimates to Bucky and BK listeners, or you can reach out to Mike directly. He just texted into the show. You know what? Birthday gift to me, support all of our sponsors today. That's what I want from all of you people.
There you go.
What I ask for my birthday is every single person listening to the show gets a home upgrade from McCall Custom Homes, gets a TV upgrade from AV Consultations. You buy a 6-pack of Altstadt beer, buy some early bird CBD gummies. You go to Relax the Back. You go to Sleep Cycle Center. You support the ride. Get a Hat Creek burger.
You got to say a lot for the Woods Comfort Systems, because if you're air conditioning, you know, that thing is just clicked on this morning. It's supposed to be 85 tomorrow. Hey, 85 feels like 95 over the last couple of days. So make sure that your system is working for you when it comes to air conditioning, plumbing, and heating. There you go. Woods Comfort System.
Yeah, it's all just support our sponsors. You know, that's how you support me.
Keep messing around.
On my birthday. I don't ask for much. I just want you to support our sponsors and spend a bunch of your money with them. That's it. You don't have to give me a gift. Just do that instead. That works.
How about therideproject.com too?
Yeah.
I'll give a little something there.
Some for charity. Why not?
That's right.
It's a good bit right there. So shout out to McCall Custom Homes and our guy Mike, big friend of ours, big Longhorn fan, big listener and supporter of the show. And again, you need something done to your home, he will take care of it. All right. Little Texas baseball, Buck. I'm disappointed. Every Monday, the new college baseball polls come out. And there's like 14 of them, but there's really one that I focus on more than any other. That is the D1 baseball poll. And that is the one that the television broadcast will typically use. They've got a number by the team name. They usually get that number from D1 baseball. And Texas opened up the year number 3 in the D1 baseball top 25. And they were number 3 1 week in. They were number 3 2 weeks in. And I was thinking, all right, the Longhorns 11-0. The 2 teams ranked ahead of the Longhorns have already lost. UCLA, number 1 in the country, they've already lost twice.
Hey,
LSU,
they would let you get away with that in football.
Right. LSU, they've already lost. They lost to McNeese. Like, there's no way these teams are still going to be ranked ahead of Texas, right? Wrong. The Longhorns still number 3 in this week's D1 baseball poll, behind 2-loss UCLA and McNeese loss LSU. The Longhorns, one of 3 remaining unbeaten teams in college baseball. USC and New Mexico are the other 2. But look, I don't care that much about the rankings in early March. I care that the Longhorns continue to find ways to win, my friend.
Yes, indeed. Boy, can they hit.
Oh, they can hit, they can pitch, they can defend. I mean, they could do a little bit of everything. And 3 teams found that out in Houston over the weekend, because Texas whipped up on Coastal Carolina on Friday, Baylor on Saturday, and then Ohio State yesterday.
Yeah, I love them beating up on the Bad News Bears from Waco, because they look like the Bad News Bears out there.
They were
kicking the ball, knocking it all over the play. They were awful.
Yeah, shout out to Baylor's right fielder for just letting one go right under his glove. Anthony Pack had an RBI single, ended up clearing the bases because the right fielder just totally whiffed on it. That was nice to see in the Saturday afternoon.
That looked a little leaguish. I mean that right through the wickets. That thing went. I'm like, is the glove going to touch the ball? I didn't even touch the ball.
You're going to be watching your grandkids play T-ball later this week. You're going to see better defense from them than some of the Texas opponents this weekend, which you'll take it. Heck, Baylor put up a better fight than the other 2 teams that Texas played.
You're right.
That was the closest game of the 3 for the Longhorns. They only won that game by 3. But Friday was obviously the big test. Coastal Carolina, the number 9 team in the country, defending runner-ups in the College World Series. Look, their best pitcher, Cam Flukie, was hurt. I would have loved to have seen Texas get a chance against maybe the best pitcher in college baseball to really show what they're about. But that's still a very good Coastal team and a great early season litmus test for the Longhorns. And they passed that test with flying colors. 8-1, the final score on Friday. Ruger Riojas, 11 strikeouts in 5 innings, a career high for him. And then Aiden Robbins, I'm sure every Texas fan has seen this 10 times by now, hitting the choo-choo train
he lit that thing up, didn't he?
Oh my, 466 feet. And I have watched a lot of games at that ballpark, and I've been to a lot of games at that ballpark. And, it's a big deal when anybody hits the tracks, but it's an even bigger deal when someone's able to hit the train itself. That's what Aiden Robbins, I know it's a metal bat, whatever, still 466 feet. I mean, that was a 0-0 game, bit of a pitcher's duel early on, and then Aiden Robbins just woke everybody up with that monster shot. And then Texas kind of opened up the floodgates after that.
Yeah, that thing was solidly hit. Put a little dent in the side of that baby too.
Not to say, was Bobby Dynamite up there? That's the guy that drives the train in Houston. That guy sleeps there. Little do people know he actually sleeps in that train too.
Wow.
Talk to him in Houston. And back when it was Minute Maid Park, they had all those oranges in the the train bed, and he would just eat those. That was his meal. He would just live up there on the tracks. It was pretty cool. So hopefully he's
hobo living on the track in the train eating oranges.
That was it. Not a bad life right there.
Nice bed for him, huh?
You're scared of heights. That's not an ideal place to be, I don't think.
Wow.
But that was awesome. I mean, Aiden Robbins, the Seton Hall transfer, just continues to just rip the cover off the baseball. He's ridiculously good. Speaking of transfers, how about Timo Becerra, the third baseman from Stanford.
Yes.
Buck, he hit 2 homers on Friday. He hit 1 yesterday, so that's 3. He hit 3 home runs in his first 3 years of college at Stanford. He hit 3 home runs this weekend for Texas.
Getting him on the weight program,
I guess
lifting
so.
program here.
In an MLB park, too. Like, really impressive stuff from Becerra, who, is more of an average guy and a good defender. That's what attracted Texas to him. The fact that he's showing you some of that power stroke, very unexpected. So he was great this weekend. Anthony Pack Jr., the true freshman, what an amazing start to his college career. And that guy is incredible. It's a big deal to just get to play as a freshman at a place like Texas. But that guy, third on the team in average right now, hitting .371, has an OPS over 1,000.
He's smooth. That dude is smooth.
Yeah. Smooth at the plate. I mean, he's got a great eye, too. He doesn't chase a bunch of pitches out of the zone. He's working pitchers, working deep into counts. And, a couple of RBIs in the win on Saturday against Baylor. I mean, they're getting contributions up and down the lineup. Ashton Larson, the LSU transfer, hit a home run over the weekend. There was just a lot to like from Texas.
Yeah, I mean, with the pitching that's going on, I told you before, it looks like if you're the opposing teams, you better score 5 somehow.
Yeah, and that's tough to do against this pitching staff. The Baylor coach, after the game on Saturday, he's like, man, I've followed Texas baseball for like 30 years. I don't think I've ever seen a pitching staff as good as the one they've had, or as good as the one they have right now. That's what I should say. They're ridiculous. And look, the Texas pitching staff, I mean, Riojas was amazing. Again, 11 strikeouts in 5 innings, only 1 hit and 1 walk allowed. But Luke Harrison struggled. He walked 5 guys on Saturday, didn't get out of the 4th inning. Dylan Volantis, had 4 great innings yesterday, but got into some trouble in the 5th, couldn't get out of the 5th. He gave up his first 2 runs of the year. He started hitting and walking dudes as well. So it wasn't like Texas's best pitching weekend at all. And yet still they were able to get 3 wins, and they only gave up, a total of 6 runs in the 3 games.
Right.
That's like an average weekend.
Yeah, you got to score 5 against them to even be in the games.
Well, if the Texas offense, it kind of feels that way. But this bullpen's really good. I mean, this team is deep. They are deep with the pitching staff. They are deep with their lineup. They can give guys days off. That's the beautiful thing, is they can give guys days off and not feel like, all right, well, we just have a total liability out there, and let's just hope the other 8 dudes in the order can carry the weight.
Right.
Like, no, Livingston can come in and make some things happen. Larson can come in and make some things happen. Ormis behind the plate can come in and make an impact. Like, Jonah Williams had a couple of hits in the game yesterday. This team comes at you in waves, and it's crazy. I know with the transfer portal, it's easier to do this now than ever before. But the fact that Jim Schlossnagle, in only his 2nd year on the job, has been able to, build this much depth at Texas, is pretty impressive.
Oh, no doubt. You're right.
And that win on Saturday over Baylor was the 1,000th win of Jim Schlossnagle's college coaching career.
Well, maybe he can go through the season undefeated. How's that?
Yeah, I'm not going to say no. Yeah, I'm not going to say no to that. Where do I sign?
Yeah, really.
Going through the best conference in college baseball undefeated?
That'd be awesome.
Great. So Texas is 11-0. Again, one of 3 remaining unbeatens in college baseball. They have a midweek game tomorrow against Houston Christian. And then this weekend, their final non-conference series of the year. It'll be USC Upstate.
Oh, Upstate.
You know where that is?
No, Upstate somewhere in Cali, I guess.
You think it's Cali or you think it's South Carolina?
I'm going to say Cali.
USC Update. No, that's South Carolina. Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Spartanburg, yes. There you go.
They will be in town this weekend. So Texas, they should win these next 4 to get to 15-0. And then they'll have one more midweek game next Tuesday against the Bobcats of Texas State.
Oh, no. Oh, we can beat the Cats. It's that other group.
Down in San Marcos. And then Ole Miss will come to town to start SEC play 1 week from Friday. So we'll see. Look, Texas 11-0. It's their best start since 2022. Their best start since the turn of the century. They opened up a year 16-0. That was 2005. Obviously, good things happened in 2005 for Texas baseball. So wouldn't mind a repeat of a 16-0 start. More importantly, a repeat of a dog pile in Omaha at the end of the year.
Very nice.
This team looks like they have a chance to get it done. So, yeah, if the Longhorns go 5-0 in their final non-conference games, then they will match that 16-0 record, and obviously will be unbeaten going into conference play. So there you go. Some Longhorn baseball conversation, a lot to like there. Also, shout out to the Texas women's basketball team, Buck. The Longhorns ending their regular season with a road victory at Alabama, the 12th ranked win of the year for Vic Schaefer's group. The most in the
Madison
country.
Booker was awesome yesterday.
Yeah.
She had a bunch of, she not only had scores, she had a bunch of rebounds too.
21 points, 9 boards for Maddie
Yeah.
Booker. Jordan Lee, Kyla Oldacre both had 11 points. It wasn't a seamless performance. Look, it was early. We talked about the quick turnaround from the super late game on Thursday to the 11 a.m. tip on Sunday. And look, Alabama's a good team. They're ranked number 24 in the country. It was senior day, so they had a lot to play for, and they were animated and motivated. But Texas wasn't a flawless performance by any stretch, but they led wire to wire and ended up winning 72-65.
Very
So
nice.
congrats to them. The Longhorns got the double bye. They will be the 3 seed in the SEC tournament. They had the same record as Vanderbilt, but I don't know what the tiebreaker was. I guess Vanderbilt beat Texas head-to-head. That's probably what the tiebreaker was. So Vandy gets the 2 seed. Texas gets the 3. But most importantly, the Longhorns get the double bye, so they will not play again until late Friday night. We will have to wait and see who their opponent is. It just depends on what happens in the first 2 days in South Carolina. Greenville, South Carolina.
We're going to get our buddy Ronnie on sometime. Tell us about what happens, what's going on in NASCAR.
Yeah, I tried. He's too busy for us, man.
Oh, he is now. He's just on the move.
He was out at the track Thursday and Friday. We were going to get a little pre-race conversation with him. Texted him today. He's texted me happy birthday, and I'm like, thanks, man. You want to come on and talk NASCAR? He's like, nah, no, I can't do it.
I'm busy. I'm too busy.
Too much going on. But Tyler Reddick got it done at COTA. His 3rd straight win. First driver ever. Yeah, first NASCAR driver ever to win the first 3 races of a season. Daytona to Atlanta to Austin. He's part of Michael Jordan's team, 2311 Racing. And, what a run. What a heater. All the legendary names in NASCAR. Man. Nobody else was able to do what Tyler Reddick has done.
Who does he think he is? Jeff Gordon?
Maybe he's better than Jeff Gordon.
Wow.
That's okay. I shouldn't say that. Then the NASCAR diehards are going to come after me for that one.
I want them to come after you on your birthday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Come after him. He's a man now. He's 32.
Hey, Richard Petty, bum.
Oh, no.
That guy couldn't do it with these drivers. He was driving against a bunch of postal service workers and milkmen. Nowadays, no chance.
He was beating up on the Amazon drivers, was he?
He couldn't handle these cars.
Oh, God.
Technology in the cars. Yeah, Petty couldn't handle that stuff, dude.
Bring it on, 32.
Yeah, Dale Sr., sorry. Rest in peace to a legend, but he couldn't have done it nowadays. The game has changed.
3 in a row, huh?
3 in a row. Waltrip. Trash.
Look at you throwing out those names, just whipping out those NASCAR names. Way to go there, Bubba.
Whipping out the old Bubba Wallace.
There you go.
Thank you. Thank you for that. He's part of Jordan's team, too. So there was NASCAR at COTA. It looked like a great crowd. I watched most of the race on TV yesterday. It seemed like a lot of people made their way to COTA. Beautiful weekend here in Central Texas. So
absolutely, man.
That definitely helped right there. So there's your NASCAR. And then in the NBA, before we get to the BBK news to have some fun at the end of the show, the San Antonio Spurs 11-game win streak came to an end yesterday as they lost to the Knicks at the Garden. 114-89. The Spurs were up 12 early. Looked like they were going to cruise to another victory, and then literally was all Knicks after that. They turned it into a blowout on.
Yeah, those dudes been on the road for quite a while.
Yeah, well, they've been playing well. They were due for a loss at some point.
That's the rodeo road trip for them, where they're gone for the month.
Yep, and the Spurs still second place in the Western Conference. Oklahoma City did beat Dallas last night, so that didn't help the Spurs' chances of moving up in terms of getting the 1 seed in the home court advantage throughout the Western Conference playoffs. But San Antonio in a very, very good spot right now. And again, not a lot of shame. The Knicks are a good team. Not a lot of shame in losing to them on the road.
Yeah, the Knicks needed it more anyway.
The Knicks needed it more anyways. So there you go. All right. Before we get to the BBK news here, Buck, how about a few more sponsor shout outs?
I think I'm clean. I think I got everybody.
Okay. Well,
I'm
shout out.
counting the coda, counting our text line right there with the coda shout out, brother.
There, that counts. Well, shout out to Early Bird CBD. We talked about them earlier.
Baby.
What was it? Friday night, popped in Early Bird CBD. Went out to dinner with some friends, came back home with the lady. We're like, what should we do tonight? Both of us, Early Bird CBD gummy, and watched The Big Lebowski.
There you go.
She had never seen it. I've been talking about that. I quote that movie all the time, and she's never seen it. And finally, I guess it's like an early birthday gift. She's like, you know what? I'll watch that movie with you tonight. I was like, let's go. Popped an Early Bird CBD gummy. And let me tell you, I mean, that movie's great even if you're sober, but it was very funny with one of these gummies in my system.
I'm going to need it tomorrow because I got a round of golf. Not tomorrow. I'm going to do it on Wednesday. Wednesday's my round this week. So I need to go ahead and get one of those prepared because I'm starting to feel a little twingy in these knees. I did my walk, my Sunday walk. Did not do it. Hey, did not attempt to jog. Let's be smart. There's no reason for me to run. I'm not a marathoner. So I'm not Matt King. I'm not getting on a bicycle and going 2,000 miles. So I don't need to go to the grocery store or anything by foot. So yeah, man, the Early Birds are fantastic for both my knees, my back. Gives me a lot of comfort. So I'll be ready for Wednesday morning to have one of those for sure.
Yeah, Early Bird CBD. It's a local Austin company that makes gummies and tinctures that are formulated with CBD, but also with a microdose of THC as well. So unlike some of the other CBD gummies that you maybe tried in the past, you're actually going to feel these, and you're going to feel good with these. If you're like the Buck, maybe you got some physical activity you want to do, just relieve some pressure, you can do that. If you're like me, just Friday night, had a long week, want to enjoy things, relax a little bit, take the edge off, whatever. Early Bird CBD is all about it. Don't forget to use our promo code Bucky. You type that in at checkout, you're going to get 20% off your first order. My mom's on the Early Bird CBD gummies now. The girlfriend's on them. I'm on them. The Buck's on them. We trust them. They're great products, and we think you're going to love them too. Just give them a go. earlybirdcbd.com. And also a quick shout out to Adam, his great team at Waterloo Printing. All of our merch and hats and business cards and basically everything been made by Adam and his great team at Waterloo. So if you have a business or just a big event coming up that needs signs, stickers, hats, shirts, business cards, whatever, reach out to our great friends at Waterloo Printing and Graphics. Adam will get you what you need. It's an Austin company based right here in South Austin. And again, he can do all of that for you. Big Longhorn fan. He was down in Houston at the baseball games over the weekend. Listens to this show all the time. Great freaking guy as well. 512-300-9641. Find him on Instagram at Waterloo Printing. And Sleep Cycle Center as well. If you're having trouble sleeping or if your partner's having trouble sleeping, you might have undiagnosed sleep apnea, and you're not alone. More than 22 million Americans have undiagnosed sleep apnea. Stop snoring. Stop waking up feeling like you didn't sleep at all. If you've got drowsiness, daytime fatigue, whatever, you might have undiagnosed sleep apnea. Our guy, Dr. Chad, will help make your sleeping problems a thing of the past. 2 Austin area locations, one in Lakeway off of 620, one up north, 183 and Breaker. Go see him. Consultation is free. They've got an in-home sleep study that you could try. If you mention this show, you'll get $100 off. And again, they want to make your sleeping problems or your partner's sleeping problems a thing of the past. Go to sleepcyclecenters.com for more information. All right, the BBK news for a Monday show. I don't even know where to begin. We've got a lot to talk about here.
A lot went on over the weekend.
Well, we'll just start with this headline here. This was a pretty funny one and something that I think you were going to enjoy. Major League Baseball is on the brain. Spring training going on right now, and obviously the regular season will open up here in a couple of weeks. I think we have a front runner for the weirdest injury in the Major League Baseball season already, and it hasn't even started yet. A headline that I read late last week: Padres pitcher Matt Waldron out indefinitely after, quote, infection in his rear end, end quote.
Sat on one of those. Yeah, that would happen. Went to a hotel. Yep. Sat on a clicker.
Probably think that's what this was?
Could have been, yes. Could have been something with the anals. Not bringing that remote control. Got to bring that remote condom with you on the road. He's probably in some foreign hotel.
I was going to ask because you are the expert in infectious diseases on this show and also rear end activities on this show.
Oh my God.
You've spent a lot of time talking about some bleaching in your past, so I figured there could be an infection or two that you've had back there. But
okay, so tell me what he did. Did he sit on a bad toilet seat? You know, they have those little covers, which I don't know which way to turn them.
Yeah, the Padres' new manager, Craig Stammen, said he's going to begin the season on the injured list after recently sustaining an infection in his rear end. Apparently, the 29-year-old actually required a procedure to fix the ailment, which was later clarified to be a hemorrhoid issue.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got to be careful of that. That's pushing too hard.
Not quite as fun as we've had your remote condom story. We've also had stories of people putting old World War I and II artillery shells, easy for me to say.
Being keistered by shells.
Yeah, we've had some keistering stories on this show in the past. So I was kind of hoping we'd get something like that. You know, we didn't get a lot of details on what caused the issue here, but I was wishful thinking that we'd have this guy trying to put something there that shouldn't have been put in there, and that's why he's hurt.
May have slipped and fell into a swamp and got a baby crocodile stuck up in there. Not that, though.
Not that. Has that ever happened to you or anybody you know?
What, the baby crocodile slipping and falling in a pond and being inserted? I don't know, but it's possible. I will see. Florida man will come up with that one soon.
Yeah, I'm going to say gas station sushi is what caused this rear end infection. That's going to be, my prediction here. And I would like to give a tip of the cap to Dude Wipes, not a sponsor of this program, but they are a company that makes flushable wipes for dudes.
Yes.
They have offered Matt Waldron a lifetime supply of free Dude Wipes after this infection.
Wow.
That's marketing right there. That's taking advantage of your moment. You hear a major league ball player has some sort of deal with that area, and it's like, you know what? Let's get in the news here. Let's jump in and make an impact. And they're doing that.
Oh.
Yeah. Hopefully he can leave all of this behind, sir.
Very nice.
Yeah. Thank you. Had to do that. So that was one story from over the weekend. What else do we have here? Oh, a new fear unlocked. Got video with this one. We go to the middle of America, Omaha, Nebraska. Home of the College World Series. I hope to be in Omaha at some point this year. Never been, never made that trip. The Longhorns are in the College World Series this year. I got a hunch I'm going to be making my way up there.
Up and go. You're right.
Maybe a little road trip for the show. But this is footage captured from University of Nebraska, Omaha public safety security cameras. That's a mouthful. And pictured here, about to show this clip, it's just an intersection, four-way stoplight in Omaha. Got a couple of cars just waiting at the red light. This is all pretty standard here. Look towards the right side of your screen. You see a red SUV, then you see a gray pickup truck pull up. Traffic's going as usual, but pay attention to those two cars, my friend. Still waiting for their turn to go. And oh,
yeah.
Down they go.
Sinkhole. Wow.
They got sinkholed, and look, the cars behind them are like, well, I'm backing away from this. I'm not taking any chances here because we could be next. Can you imagine?
That would freak me out, especially if I had that early bird in me.
You're just stopped at a red light, just going about your day. Maybe you're checking a text on your phone. Maybe you're changing the song, whatever, and then all of a sudden you're going down. Boom. How does that even happen?
Something has to give underneath that, and it just gave.
What does a sinkhole even mean? I know it's a sinkhole, but how does that occur there?
Oh, that's too bad. I'm just at the stoplight minding my business. I'm not doing a thing. I'm not breaking any rules, any laws. I may have hit a little text thing down there low, texted somebody at the stoplight, but it was red. So I hit, and all of a sudden, bang, that's what I get. That's what I deserve to get. My car in a sinkhole. That's not right.
Makes me want to run these red lights. I don't want to take any chances just getting stuck on top of one of these.
Yeah. Too much pressure on that one spot from all the stoppage right there. We need to get going.
I guess so.
I wonder if that dude behind him actually backed up and then went around until I turned green.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think a bunch of guys, like some people, this was a lot longer of a video. I only trimmed it down to like 30 seconds because you saw everything you needed to see. But some people like got out and helped. Like,
yeah, I mean, I would definitely. Yeah, I'm kind of goofy. I'm old, but I would definitely go over to that and see if somebody needed any help.
Yeah, I would too.
But
if I'm the cars behind them, I'm definitely backing up a few feet before.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't want the chain reaction of that ground giving way.
Yeah.
And then I'd get out and then I'd talk to them from the sidewalk, BK.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not getting that close. I'm falling in too. Hang on.
It won't take much. Hey, I fall down with everything being even, so I can't be around that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
If stuff started shaking, I'd go right down in the sinkhole, and that'd be it for me.
That would be it for you. Yeah, thankfully everybody was okay. Nobody was harmed in the making of this sinkhole, but pretty insane clip right there. And then last but not least, if I can find where I had this saved, we have the college baseball all-name team for the 2026 season. These are all real names, the best names that the internet was able to find across the sport of college baseball. We'll read some of these off. We'll also do a little screen share here. But there are some good ones this year, including at pitcher, J.J. Glasscock at West Virginia.
Very nice.
You also have a Jack Bauer. Did you ever watch the show 24, Buck?
Yes, Jack Bauer, yep.
Jack Bauer at Mississippi State. Texas will see him at some point this year. You've got maybe my personal favorite at Clemson, Drew Titsworth.
Very nice. I'm kind of like, is that Scott Updike?
You have a Scout Updike.
Scout Updike, nice.
At Jacksonville, yes. You've got a Skywalker Man at outfield at Alabama State. There's a Stephen Curry at Seton Hall.
Great. Will Cook. Yeah, nice. How about that dude?
I thought you were going to make a softball joke with Will Cook. Saying like you thought he'd be a softball player or something. No? Yeah, sparing that one? Sparing the people of that one?
I'm sparing that because I'm still trying to get the award.
I really do think the best, I already said I think the best one is Drew Titsworth, but maybe that's the best pitcher, the best position player. The catcher at Harvard named K-So.
K-So, that's beautiful.
I mean, maybe it's pronounced Kai. Maybe it's Kai-So, but K-A-I-S-O. We're going to go with K-So. The catcher at Harvard this year is named K-So.
I love the dude named Henry Ford. That's wrong. He's got to change his name. He's not going to go with the name. He's got to go with Hank. I mean, he's got to be Hank forever. He can't be Henry Ford.
Reginald Tuggle III. At North Carolina A&T. That's where your dad went to school, right?
Yes, he did.
A&T. And then also a Shuto Tiger Okumura at Illinois State. Asian guy is going to be my guess on that one.
Yeah, he's probably going to need just a nickname.
Shuto, I don't know, Shuto Tiger. Sounds like a nickname in itself right there.
Wow.
So there you go. There's the all-name team in college baseball this year. Some good ones around the country.
Blade Carver.
Blade Carver's a good one. Yeah, none at Texas, unfortunately. No Longhorns making the cut this year. Houston Street's got to be one of our best names that we've ever had.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to think of some of the other great ones here. Maybe our audience can help us, but none on the 2026 squad, unfortunately.
Wow.
Yeah, so there you go. All right. Happy birthday to John Bon Jovi, Luke Combs, Chris Martin, Tua Tagovailoa, Ben Roethlisberger. Roethlisberger. Him and I treat women a little better than Ben Roethlisberger. We have different bathroom habits, I think it's safe to say.
Yes.
Reggie Bush, 42.
Yours are on more side like the people from Louisiana than what that dude does in the bathrooms.
No, yeah, you're right. And it's also National Egg McMuffin Day. You can get one of those at McDonald's for $1.
Today?
Today only. And National Banana Cream Pie Day as well.
Hey, don't let up on Culver's. We need them as a sponsor. I've been going there. I'm liking that. I'm liking seeing the old Catholic couples during the Lenten season
Yeah.
hold hands at Culver's. That's kind of cool.
You're the one who goes there every week. You got to get them as a sponsor. You're always there.
Yeah, I need to go in and talk to those folks because now I'm down with their walleye sandwich. Oh, a nice fresh walleye. You probably never had walleye before.
Where do we have walleye here?
It's a funky looking fish. It's got 2 teeth in the front, BK. It's got teeth.
Walleye's freshwater fish.
It's freshwater, yes. And I've been fishing for walleye. Walleye are kind of cool. They're kind of rugged, but don't stick your hand in their mouths. They'll bite the crap out of you. They got little jagged teeth.
While you're eating the sandwich, they will bite you?
No, they got no movement there. But it's a white flaky fish. Tastes delicious. It's not like that fresh cod you get at Mickey D's, though.
No, that fresh cod from Maynard.
I have not done that yet. I've not done a Friday of Mickey D's. I'm holding out as long as I can.
You got to try the Whataburger What-A-Catch too this year.
I know. I came close to that the other day, but how can I get water? That's a meat place. How am I going to get fish on Friday at a meat joint?
I don't know. My great aunt, who is Jewish and does not celebrate the Lenten season, was like, I love the What-A-Catch at Whataburger. This is my favorite part of the year. I'm like, really? All the great food that they have there, you're going with the fish? And she swears by it. She stands on it. So
okay, I'm doing. That's it. I needed that little push. I'm doing that Friday.
There it is. All right. Well, that'll do it for a Monday show. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. More Texas spring ball tomorrow. We're going to talk to Greg Swindell. He normally joins us on Monday, but he was calling some games in Arlington over the weekend, so he's driving back today. But Zeke will join us tomorrow to talk Longhorn baseball. We'll talk plenty of Texas sports throughout the week and so much more to dive into. But thank y'all so much.
Hey, dude, enjoy your birthday. Have a wonderful night. Be safe. Keep your head on a swivel, please.
Amen. Same to you. Now, I appreciate all y'all for the birthday wishes, and hope all y'all have a great day. And the Buck and I will be back tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Thanks for tuning in.
Welcome.